Through the prayers of our, through the prayers of Holy Father, through Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Amen. Good evening. For those new here, my name is Father Joseph Swaden. I've worked in Orthodox apologetics since 1998, and I'm the founder of NFTU, True Orthodox and Ecumenical News, since 2004. We've been in the apologetic space on Facebook since 2016 and on YouTube since 2018, and if you appreciate what we do here, please like and subscribe. Okay. Yeah, I guess I kind of needed to have my mic plugged in the right way. Okay, so today we do our live Q&A session. We're actually, doing one because we're trying to always get started on Tuesdays, and somehow things always go wrong. So we're going to get your questions answered live, as well as member-requested video reviews. I did ask in a poll to see what people wanted. They wanted video reviews, so we're going to start with video reviews. So let's get started. And as always, if you want to jump on stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link in the top of the chat. I will be taking super chats from the YouTube chat. And if you want your question or comment without super chatting, I'll answer it, but you might miss it if I don't put it up. With that, I will say we are starting with a video today because it's one that we've been planning to discuss for a few days now. And well, I decided to take some time off for personal reasons, medical reasons. I took Sunday off, and I took kind of those days off as well. And so we're going to play a little bit of catch up with that. But of course, as is always the case here, we got news. So let's get started with the opening comments. We got a few here. So Journey one says, hello, greetings. Father, could let's see, Carrie Berthel says, Father bless. May God bless you in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. And then Journey one says, Father, could you please explain the difference between True Orthodoxy and World Orthodoxy on original sin? I didn't realize it was different. It is not different. The traditional Orthodox position has always been in a belief in original or ancestral sin, if you want to put it that way. The Romanidian fad, while popular in World Orthodoxy, is not technically their official position. And it's not ours either, but it is popular especially among new calendars. It used to be popular more among some Greek groups because of the popularization by Father John Romanidis, but it's not actually different. Let's see here. Ustratio Sargenti says, is that Shrek in the thumbnail? Why, yes, it is, because I gotta, all right, I have to do this first off. I gotta do this because, I kind of mentioned, let me see if I can just find it so I can explain Shrek. Shrek appeared on my X because of the fact that last night, for those who are completely not on X or on, they don't follow stuff. If you don't know, I'll just put it up. Very simply, the big news is, J-Dyer quits. It's big news. It affects the entire YouTube apologetics world. It affects, honestly, a lot of the online apologetics world. And I'm surprised this didn't happen 5 years ago, but it did eventually happen. It was going to. I had no doubt about that. When we first started the channel, there were a bunch of people, on YouTube. There were a bunch of people who kept saying, "You got to be J-Dyer. You got to be J-Dyer." I'm like, eventually, I was like, "Who's J-Dyer?" And then Father Enoch told me, "Well, he's some guy who argues on Facebook. He, I guess, recently became Orthodox, and he's very big on declaring himself the Orthodox apologist." In reality, what he was talking about before was like conspiracy theories and pop culture. And I'm like, well, Orthodox apologetics isn't exactly going to be like, that's not quite the cup of tea. But I guess he got into it. It was kind of, it spawned quite the movement, one that we will be dealing with the aftermath of probably for a couple of years yet. But he decided he wanted to do other things. And we wish him well. Go get that bread. And Now, as to the Shrek, kind of, I put this up because uh, apparently a few hours later, Jonathan Pajot, or Pagot, I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it, announced that he too, on the advice of his priest, bishop, I don't remember, on the advice of his clergy, he is also quitting apologetics, which was news to me because, I mean, as one person noted correctly, I've never really thought of anything Jonathan Pajot does as apologetics. It doesn't strike me as that. And so, because of the fact that I guess he was leaving too, he was leaving the scene along with Jay Dyer. I put this up, and a few people liked it, and basically, I was kind of I kind of put this up, and because frankly, there are lots of people who have been involved in Orthodox apologetics for years, and I know some of them. I get along with them much less frequently. A lot of them don't really like me much anymore, and that's cool. I don't really care. But the point was, I felt at the time, many years ago, that Orthodox apologetics was being invaded by dilettantes who didn't know what they were doing. Primarily, I was referring to Jay because of the fact that he is a philosopher. He's not in any way, shape, or form a patristic scholar. And so the thing is, because of that outsized presence and the presence of the Ortho Bros and all the stuff that came in for years, it was a pretty packed swamp. And many times they wanted to push me out of my own swamp. And so now they're all leaving, and I'm still here, and I got back my swamp. So that is why I decided to put this up. It did, a few people liked it. It got some likes, but it wasn't a big deal. And so the point is that is why there is a Shrek for the thumbnail, alone in his swamp. All right, so okay, enough of the goofiness. Let me see here. Journeying One says, so Romanitas supposes we are sinless when we are born. That is what I was taught in World Orthodoxy. Yeah, the term for that is Pelagianism. And Romanitas makes no secret of, as he puts it, Orthodoxy being semi-Pelagian. He just means Pelagian, and it's not Pelagian. It never was Pelagian until he invented this semi-Pelagianism, noose juice, spinal cord juice fluid stuff. It didn't exist. And Augustine's evil, all that stuff was basically promoted by Romanitas, and he was very popular, especially in the 80s and 90s. I'm not even going to lie. People be like, "Oh, how dare you talk bad about Romanitas?" I adored Romanitas when I became a convert. When I was a convert to Orthodoxy, when I first came in, so much so that I wrote a college paper for a very strange professor who was very credentialed, etc., about how like the entire situation of the West was a lie, and he gave me an A+ on it. Said it was like fantastic. The Franks are horrible people, and so on and so forth. And then I started to read more, and I started to read like Vladimir Moss's attacks on Romanitas. Like he wrote a thing called Against Romanitas, which I highly recommend for everyone, World Orthodox, True Orthodox, you name it. Just read it. You'll realize the guy just has terrible views that are not part of the Orthodox tradition. And so, yeah. Let's see here. True Orthodox Inquirer says, you made JD rage quit. I wish I could take credit for that, but I'm going to be honest. A bunch of Protestants, some of whom knew me and some of whom mentioned True Orthodox, may have been more of a contributor to the rage quit than me. That said, I'm not even sure that that's the motivation. I personally think that he was kind of at a crossroads. He could have, gone into more the the political arena, the more highbrow television arena. We sometimes see that like with like Piers Morgan and stuff like that he was recently on. Or doing apologetics, which meant he'd have to find bigger and bigger opponents. And unfortunately, those opponents got tired of it. And I think really the moment that it went downhill was when Ruslan called him a clout goblin. The whole thing was exposed. And he was like, you know what, I'm sick of this. So I personally, I thought he was gonna quit like 5 years ago. You can't do career apologetics. It's in your, it's a calling. And it's like, to put it a different way, apologists have been part of the history of the church from the very beginning. If we look at St. Justin Martyr onward, and they weren't always clergy. And so, but what they was dedicated to answering on behalf of Orthodoxy. And you can't do that halfway. And so that is kind of, why, apologists who are serious, they're in their swamp because no one likes them. That's the kind of position you have to take. You can only get so far just doing apologetics. And anyone, especially if you look at YouTube apologists, etc., even like the bigger ones, like Protestant ones, they'll flat out say that it's not just apologetics that they do. Ruslan being an example, he's a musician, he's a worship leader, he's an apologist. He does lots of things. He has his hand in lots of different baskets because that's how people do that to survive. Very few people want to just do apologetics. It's a niche thing. And so for all the people that I've seen crying on X about him quitting, it's not, you're either in it or you're not. It's that simple. And you might be a good debater, but that doesn't necessarily mean you want to be in it. So let's see here. Sunrise says Ortho Bros will create J-Dyer 2 with AI. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. Latin Boy 305. Someone brought up that there was never a council that condemned Rome. Why is that? It's not exactly true. There wasn't a council that condemned Rome at the time of the schism. However, by the Second Council of Lyon, which was a failed attempt, it was like Florence 1.0. Didn't work. Only the emperor went along with it. And then the Council of Blachernae was held in 1285, 11 years later, which did condemn all of the Roman heresies. So yeah, it wasn't at the time. You just have to know your historical line to understand where it belongs. Journeying One says, would it be proper to say we are guilty of Adam's sin then? Or is it more so we inherit the sinful nature? I tend towards going towards more inheriting the sinful nature. However, when you say, are we guilty of Adam's sin? I mean, inheriting the sinful nature is kind of a product of that. So to me, it's not an either or. Our Lord became sin for us so that we could be released from it. That means there had to be something juridical to it. I'm not going to go so far as these scholastic idiots and the PSA obsessed people, but the whole point is that Eustratius Argenti says the Synod of Brixen 1080 condemned the Hildebrandian papacy. That is absolutely true. Now keep in mind that was a Western council, and it is worth noting that yes, that would probably be the official, if you count Hildebrand as the official start of the Roman Catholic Church, which we do and I do, then yeah, the Synod of Brixen was the first to condemn it. However, it's important to note that many Roman Catholics are less interested in their own problems. They just assume that Rome was perfect. And they say, well, when did the East condemn it? So the answer to that would be 1285. And then Reckonkeith says, who is J.D. Rage Quit? That's J-Dyer Rage Quitting. But I don't think he rage quit. I think he just said, I had enough of this. He probably just didn't want to deal with searching for more and more apologists and trying to see if he could gotcha them, and realize that there's better and other ways to, if you may do YouTube, if you're not truly committed to it. And that's my argument, is that I don't think he was truly committed. I thought he was going to quit years ago, and I feel like he didn't have a spite. But, or maybe it's just because he saw the growth that we didn't see. Who knows? But he's done now, and so now we deal with the aftermath. Yeah, we was Franks. Exactly. Latin Boy 305 says, is the current Pope at least showing some signs that he's a bit more conservative, thereby producing at least a minuscule amount of hope for Rome? From the Orthodox perspective, the papacy itself is a corrupted office. just hoping that the next pope is Bill O'Reilly isn't going to save your church. There's serious institutional problems with it, and that's why you should leave and become Orthodox. Not because of the fact that, if you base it on a good or bad pope, you're never really going anywhere. And that's what I try to tell people, because then you have people like, you have folks like Michael Lofton, who like went to Orthodoxy for a while still wanting to go to Latin masses, and he never really converted. And so because of that, it's the person never converts. They never realize the wrongs that are occurring in Rome, and they make it a du jour kind of thing. And if you live like that, you're never going to be truly happy, because you're holding on to a Roman Catholicism that died, as opposed to the true faith. Padre Luke from Colombia is doing a Spanish catechism Tuesdays at 7 Eastern. Very nice. Let's see here. Eustratios Argenti says, would it be possible to address Orthodox persecution of the Monophysites under the Chalcedonian Patriarch of Antioch, Paul the Jew, and the Chalcedonian Patriarchs in Alexandria? No, I don't think I will. And I think we both know why. And that is because of the fact that it was not just one-sided. It was not like, oh, the Chalcedonians were just torturing and, basically like persecuting the Monophysites, and those poor innocent Monophysites did it. Those poor innocent Monophysites sided with Islam, dude. So, no, I'm not going to sit here and just be like, okay, no, I don't agree with that. Let's see here. Gabriel Michael says his 5-hour-long live stream is all those crazy, ignorant call-ins warm out finally. Maybe. Little Wing with a member chat says, Father bless, may God bless you in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Let's see here. Other Paul said American bishops are clamping down on ortho bros, and that's why people are quitting debate. Thoughts? Yeah, I would say that is probably true, especially with the coordination between Dyer and Pajot saying basically the same thing. The Australians basically clamping down on social media influencers. Yeah, it does look like a coordinated effort on the part of the World Orthodox. I must add, we, the true Orthodox, are still free to speak, because we've always been consistently against ecumenism, and that was really the big problem. That was really the big problem, that it wasn't so much that they had big platforms that were speaking, it's that they had big platforms that were saying the wrong things. I've said this before, and I say it all the time, that people get sold, or got sold, I should say past tense now, to World Orthodoxy for the wrong reasons. The truth of the matter is, World Orthodoxy institutionally confesses ecumenism. True Orthodoxy does not. World Orthodoxy officially considers Sergianism as part of its history. We do not. So we didn't accept the innovations that the World Orthodox did, and I think their big problem wasn't so much social media influencers as it was social media influencers who weren't saying the right thing. So keep that in mind. Let me see here. Sparrow says, hello, welcome. God bless you. And let's see. Orthodox Traditionalist says he can do whatever he wants, and now he won't lose any followers or financial impact. Exactly. And I wish him the best for it. It's just, he wasn't truly an apologist, and I said that from day one. So I'm glad that he's doing something bigger and getting better at it. Gaming Terrain 3703 says, would you ever debate the Orientals? True Orthodox versus Orientals would be cool to see. Here's the key here. If we're going to have the open-ended debate, I'm much more for debating one of their clergy. I've said that before, and I want to remain consistent on that. However, if we are talking about a specific doctrine, etc., then I'd be glad to. And that's where I will leave it. That said, there are other people who are just as qualified as me, in some cases more qualified than me, to do that. But yeah, I'll do it. Lustratia says, is the cafe still down? It is. My medical issues and stuff became a bit more involved than I would have liked. So I will work on that in the next day or two. God willing, we should have the cafe back up by Thursday. Let's see here. Let's see. Sunrise says only ortho debaters left are going to be people anime profiles on X. Yeah, maybe. We'll let it ride. See what happens. Yeah, Estradia says, yeah, debate with Agon would be good. Yeah, I mean, I'm not against it as long as it's on a specific doctrine. If it's Oriental Orthodoxy versus True Orthodoxy, put a priest in. But if it's going to be on a specific topic, even specifically the Monophysite controversy, etc., if he wants to talk about Chalcedon, if it's a specific topic, I'm good with it. The reason why I say that is because of the fact that, and I've explained this before, because I've found that a lot of the Oriental apologists will kind of backtrack on what their own leaders say. So, like, for example, almost all of them are fully committed, if not all, I should say all of them, except there are some breakoffs that aren't, but they're committed to the ecumenical movement. And they're committed to semi-communion with the Greek Patriarch of Antioch. And so ultimately, they have to address that. And what happens is when you get into this True Orthodox versus Oriental Orthodox thing, and they start, you'll start hearing anathemas being thrown at Chalcedones and things like that. And I'm like, wait a second, that's against your own leader's documentation. So that's why I will address specific topics with lay apologists. But if they try to speak for Oriental Orthodoxy, it should be a priest. And I have a feeling that they won't do it because they haven't done it for 2 years or maybe 3 years. Let's see here. Good evening, Father Joseph in chat. Good evening, Sean. Welcome. Okay, so I want to get started with the video reviews. And I will mention this. I'll mention this because it is of value. Ever since Jay Dyer's departure, give me a moment. I decided that I was going to go in and, because you figure there's a whole bunch of people. He used to reject people for debates. And so I was like, I figured I'd see a few of those. And I did. I saw like 5 of them. And And so, give me 1 second. I saw like 5 of these people saying, "Oh, well, Jay Dyer refused to debate me." So I just said, "Debate me." And I actually did get one. So give me a moment. On Saturday, June 20th, I have a debate against the Layman Seminary. And it's the question is free grace theology biblical? Now, people are like, what's the free grace theology? And I completely understand because I didn't know either. So I had to look it up. And basically, it's really kind of pushing harder on the once saved, always saved thing, that they really want to make it a point that nothing you do matters in terms of salvation. But it basically was invented in the 1980s. So I'm looking forward to this personally. And I expect that it will be very interesting. Let me see here. So Reconquista, Jay Dyer has decided to leave apologetics as of yesterday. And so let's see. Orthodox Ritualist says the era of orthobosphere has been in decline. Father Peter here's died out. Yeah, well, because of the Romanian thing and because he was just desperate to have a bishop. Dyer died out. He left. He didn't really die out yet. But pretty much all the ortho influencers have died out. You can only maintain controversy for so long, which is going to get to our first video review. Let's see here. Eustratios. I can try to deal with that, but the simple reality, he actually had an army around him, and so I would say that no, that's not accurate. You have to. He literally avoided the summons, so I disagree. All right, so with that said, it is warm here. For those who are longtime viewers of the channel, you know that. I don't use air conditioning, and I have flipped the fan the other way, so it's pulling air out as opposed to putting air in, and so it's a little warm. But hold on one moment as I pull out the video that we were going to talk about. And so let's see here if I can find it. Okay, so basically it was on yes, and This is interesting. Okay. It was on a Jim Bob stream, and Cleave to Antiquity was on. Now, you may have noticed if you follow my ex that I basically was asking about Cleave to Antiquity's lies and how often he lies. Sean said the Jimbo and Cleve combo is bad. That's why we're going to review it now. Jim Bob asked him for his best steel man of our position. He never gives it and just strawmans instead after saying we were right about some things. Reconquista Orthodox asked, did Jay's Bishop tell him to stop apologetics? That is the hypothesis that the other Paul is going with. I don't know. I do know that Pajot did actually, he mentioned he talked to his priest or his bishop or something. And in fact, it was suggested he quit apologetics, but I never really knew that he did apologetics. And so I should note, Pajot and Dyer are not quitting like the internet. They're quitting apologetics. So they will still be doing other things. They just won't be, leading the Orthodox. The Orthodox field said, what happened with Dyer? It's at the beginning, it's at the beginning of the video I started, but ultimately, yesterday he wrote on X that he was done with doing apologetics. And so he wants to do other things. That's how it's going to be. And so Little Ing said, I don't have air conditioning or any heating either, wood stove. Strong in the Lord, we endure. Absolutely, but I am probably going to get up and turn this fan around. And Maximus asked Orthodox traditionalists, when's the next interview? Okay, so let's get right to it and see if we can hear it. I'm trying to figure out why I can't. Hold on. Okay, so let us. That is on. I wonder if when sharing it, it'll pop up. Let's find out. Hold on.
So yeah, so I don't know if you've debated these people. I always wonder why.
Okay,
is it just a numbers thing? Like,
figure this out because it did make sound before. Huh. Why does it always have to be so weird? All right, let me try this. Some days things just don't want to work. I'm going to open up a different browser, put that right in there. Can't hear it here either. This is not typical. All right, well, we want to. All right, so let me figure this one out. Because this is kind of the central thing I wanted to talk about today. But I will take questions while I try to figure it out. Let me see here. Fans are cool, no pun intended. All right, you know what? I'm turning the fan. Great. Oh. Oh. Okay. All right. I feel better now. Okay. So, Assad messing with father's computer. No. It's been weird ever since I started plugging and playing different things. Let me see here. Okay. So, let's see. Let's see. All right, so we're gonna try one more time. Let's see if I can figure this one out. Okay, I got it. Okay, hold on. And share. We're gonna watch all of this. Part of this was one of Jim Bob's streams. It was 23 minutes long. So it thankfully DTC did actually put it on 1.5 or 1.25 already. So let's see how it goes.
Yo, 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 yo.
Okay, talk again.
Yo, 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 yo.
Okay, we're good.
Nah.
Hey, welcome. So yeah,
What's up?
so I don't know if you've debated these people. I always wonder why. Is it just a numbers thing, like that they don't really show up in
Okay, first off, I'm gonna try to answer Jim Bob as we go, even though, you know, I feel bad for him because he just got lied to a lot. First off, our history with Cleve is a little bit different than you would imagine. Shortly before Cleve famously announced that he was converting to Orthodoxy because he smelled incense or something, he was actually appearing on our channel, and he had us as guests. Like, he had myself, he had Father Boniface. Both of us were involved in debates with Protestants. We had actually talked to him a great deal about true Orthodoxy, not as an argument, not as a debate, not as anything like that. We wanted him to know the truth of what was happening. And, well, he kind of didn't listen and kind of misrepresented everything. But we didn't realize how much he misrepresented everything until we saw kind of, this.
in proper debates a lot? Is it? It's just a matter of like they're just not well represented?
Well, dude, they're all separated. Like, it's not one communion. It's
Okay.
a bunch of
Okay, that's kind of a dumb argument, but it is the one of the central diorite things they have to put up, which is, they're all separated. Well, no, technically, we're really not all separated, but there are, parts of the church that are separated. If you want to pretend World Orthodoxy is the church, you have the same problem with the Constantinople Communion and the Moscow Communion. So, you can pretend there's differences. I mean, that there's a, kind of like we're uniquely divided, but it's mostly a lie.
random small tiny sects that are split up. That's why I was saying in Greece, it's a bigger thing.
Yeah, small, tiny sects. That's probably my last introduction to the layman apologist. When I talked to him, I pointed specifically to Romania because the true Orthodox are not only numbered millions of people, but their cathedrals, as I learned, like their central cathedral is kind of they're rival cathedrals. They're both huge and beautiful and so on and so forth. And there's lots of people. Like, if you didn't tell anyone anything about the true Orthodox of Romania's cathedral and the World Orthodox of Romania's cathedral, outside of spotting some ecumenical garbage in the New Calendarist Romanian cathedral, you would have a very hard time, if you were a complete stranger, figuring out which one was the Orthodox cathedral, because they kind of look very similar. Not like stylistically, but they look similar enough that it's kind of ridiculous. So let me see here. Let's see. Austratius Argenti, why is Caleb of Axum regarded as a saint? I believe, if I remember correctly, there was actually a book that was written on this. And if you look at the Lives of the Saints of Ethiopia, I believe it's by Scriptorium Press, where they actually do discuss that. So I would refer you to that simply because of the fact that there is an answer. And I don't want to get into a long-winded answer. I have not yet read the book, so I don't have it. And I'm just pointing you to where I know it is. But from what I understand, he was recognized as a Diophysite saint and as a Diophysite king by the rest of the church. So don't know what to tell you. I mean, I didn't even know he retired to a Monophysite monastery. I don't think that's a gotcha. I have no idea what happened. I have no idea what was the status of the monastery at the time. You see, these are questions I would ask. Like, when you present that, it's in discussion and or debate, there are such things as loaded questions. A loaded question, for example, that we often hear from World Orthodox is, why did you leave the church? Inside the question are pre-baked assumptions. For example, that they are the church. So when you're dealing with loaded questions, and I can honestly say I don't have the answer to that one. I could look it up if you want me to, but yeah, I'm not going to until we're done with this. And then maybe when we're done with this, I will say we'll go back. We will use the tools as we do here, and we'll do it. But I'm not going to answer it right now because I'm working on this
thing. They call themselves the Zealots. You'll even have some monasteries there. But in the American context,
they'll even have some monasteries in Greece. The presentation here is hilarious because of the fact that, to my knowledge, Ben of Cleave to Antiquity has never gone to an Orthodox country. So he does not actually know what he is talking about here. He's just stating things secondhand.
I mean, you look at some of the like TO monastics, and they're just in trailer parks.
This is literally quoting Jay Dyer. There are very few true Orthodox monastics in trailer parks. This is one of the rarest and strangest comments, and it comes from the fact that Jay Dyer confused the trailer park brothers of the what is that, they're the Roman Catholic Sedevacantists, Most Holy Family Monastery, who built their thing on a trailer park. And since he's so used to comparing true Orthodox to Sedevacantists, he just threw that out there. It's not true. It's made up. And I feel like he should repent of it. That said, I've known that there were monasteries and trailer parks, but not just true Orthodox ones, also World Orthodox ones. Yes, Orthodox traditionalist said, I take it you saw the photos I posted of our trailer park in Florida this weekend when I was in Tampa. I don't know that I had, or maybe I did, and let me just look real quick. Was this in Facebook, Subdeacon, or was this in, because the last I remember was you sending me the pictures of the MP guy the MP bishop taking a blessing from the Monophysite. Yeah, I think that must have been on Facebook. Send me a link, if you will.
The guy that streams with Joseph Sweden, he's
okay. For the record, I did not know that he was just going to switch to sounding like your average diorite that fast, but he did.
The monk, he was saying like he was trying to get ordained as like an Orthodox priest. He was trying to get ordained as like a Catholic priest. They wouldn't have.
Okay, this is he's referring to Father Boniface here. And so I want you to listen carefully to how he phrases things, because this is really deceitful.
The monk, he was saying like he was trying to get ordained as like an Orthodox priest. He was trying to get ordained as like a Catholic priest. They wouldn't have him because there was some criminal history or something. So the TO were like, yeah, let's go ahead. So they have like.
Okay. For those of us who know Father Boniface, love Father Boniface, I actually did originally ask if I could talk about this directly, because this is one of the most infuriating things I had ever heard. For those of you guys who know him and have heard him talk about his history, yes, he used to be a Protestant. He was not clergy there. He did go to some sort of RC trad independent church, and he was a priest there, and he served as a priest for a while. He wasn't sure of himself. As I understand, he went to the Roman Catholic Church to become a catechist, but they didn't want to accept him as a catechist because he was an anti-abortion activist. And so he had been arrested for basically from what I understand, delaying and kind of stopping an abortion clinic from operating. It wasn't just him, it was other people as well. That is a crime I think every single one of us is okay with committing. For then Ben here to present him as a criminal, and that's the reason he was rejected by all these churches, and then we took him in, is disgusting. No offense. And this is part of the reason why, with Ben trying to position himself as the new Jay Dyer, he has earned personally from me my unabashed vow that I will catch him on all of his lies from here on in until he repents, changes, or follows his hero and quits. there's nothing I hate more than pure deceit. And unfortunately, I've kept my mouth shut long enough. And it wasn't until I saw this that I said, you know what? I think I've had enough of him. Because from the very day he smelled his incense, I started getting messages. I got a message from the guy I debated on his channel who said, Ben's lying about me. He's saying he's making up stuff I said. And so I was like, what? And I kept it to myself. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. That, so on and so forth. But it wasn't until I realized that he really does lie about lots of people that I thought to myself, okay, this needs to stop. And then I saw this video, and when I heard what he said about Father Boniface, I was enraged, and I remain enraged. So I did a little something. Let me see here. Okay. Oh yeah, this is a picture of the Dormition of the Theotokos in this is a picture of Dormition of the Theotokos Church. Let me share this instead. In Clearwater. And this is, I guess, where the quote unquote trailer park that Subdeacon Nectarios visited. Here's the inside of the church. Now, I'm not a fan of the chairs. That is a Greek thing, I've noticed. But that is not a trailer park church. It's a stunning, stunning Orthodox church in Clearwater, Florida. So that's what's in Florida. Not a trailer park, but a big, beautiful, true Orthodox church. So, Cleve can shut up when it comes to that. Oh, Ben. Let's see here. And let's see. Cornelio says, all Dyerites think that TO are feds, and him slandering Father Boniface, one of the sweetest priests I've ever met. May God grant Father Boniface health in many years. Orthodox Field says, when did Greeks start using chairs? Just curious. I want to say that it was around the 19th century. Oh, you took these photos. Well, they're great photos. Really good photos there, Subdeacon. So good job. Let's get back to the video. And we'll see how many more lies we can. I should have put a counter. Because this is going to get ugly.
Like no canonical standards, at least in the United States. If you were to go and check out,
no canonical standards in the United States. I am not even going to. Oh man, because I think even first off, for anyone who knows me, you know that when I started this channel, I started as Deacon Joseph Swade. I was made a deacon, I want to say either 2008 or 2009. I can't even remember. I was made a priest in 2023, 3 years ago. So I was a deacon longer than most seminary graduates. So I'm just, blown away by that. Let me see here. Didn't ladies sit on the ground in the church in Hagia Sophia? Yeah, sure they did. But they haven't since 1453. Orthodox traditionalist says, Father Peter here has got arrested for doing the same thing. Oh, you got a freebie, my friend. Let's put that on the screen. Father Peter here has got arrested for doing the same thing, protesting in front of an abortion clinic. Let's see Cleve to, well, I'm going with Cleve to duplicity, say something about that. Great Babe says, is anyone dealing with the terrible lag? I am sorry if that is happening. I have no idea. Why? Maximus says no. Strati says America is heathen territory, therefore canonically open to anyone. And that is how we get into these messes, folks. Unfortunately, that is kind of the attitude everyone has, whether in true Orthodoxy or world Orthodoxy. Let's get back to the video.
There's a GOC YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Genuine Orthodox Church YouTube channel.
Okay.
That guy, the Archbishop, what's his name? Archbishop something of Colorado.
Take a guess. Take a guess at who he's about to reference after spending months talking to us. Who is he going to reference? Could it possibly be the guy that nobody in true Orthodoxy recognizes? That I repeatedly say almost every week, no one recognizes it? Could it be?
He does their arguments are wild. He's like, Seraphim Rose is not a saint because he has a dirty beard.
we kind of know who this is.
You'll hear some pretty
That's
crazy
funny.
arguments from him.
That's funny.
But I had a lot of interactions with him when I was a Protestant, believe it or not. So the playbook that they're taking is actually
He had a lot of interactions with Gregory of Colorado when he was a Protestant? Now, how's that happen?
from Evil Cleve. So I did interviews and stuff with Joseph Sweden, and their whole shtick is,
Let's hear it.
well, there's like ecumenism bad. Therefore, all these guys are
We don't say ecumenism's bad, you schmuck. We say it's a heresy.
automatically heretics. Like they're
That's how heresy works. When you preach heresy, you're a heretic.
like picturing in their mind cannons are like magic spells. They're like trap cards.
Nobody believes cannons are magic spells. You dope. We understand how the cannons work because up until we had any prominence in the US on YouTube, y'all pretended that cannons didn't exist and that you had no access to them, that your priests had no access to them, that they were forbidden from touching except for the bishop. The exact opposite of what the rudder says. Sir, you are a liar. We have covered all of these things with you. You should be ashamed of yourself, especially for slandering an elderly priest. You are just awful. And I'm going to get to some of the other people who have claimed you're a liar too. Maybe not today, but I promise you, this is just the beginning. Let me see what we got. Ordered a copy of Via Patrum and Thrift Book sent me the first edition of Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future. If anyone wants to trade Vita Patrum for this copy of Orthodox, let me know. That's an interesting trade. But it's not my book. I know my Machu has Vita Patrum, but I don't think she'd trade. But if anyone else wants to, it's out there. Greek Orthodox in America started installing pews in the early 20th century. How early is curious? Really, I mean, why would you trade that? I would, instead of returning it for a refund, I would try to sell it for more. Maximo says, haha, that's hilarious. Matthew says, Cleve gets dirtier every day. It sucks. Yeah, it is disgusting. Cornelia says, oddly enough, Gregory of Colorado was my introduction to true Orthodoxy, but then thankfully I discovered this channel and Orthodox tradition. No problem. Glad we could help. Let's take a look here. And let's see here. It's kind of like a good thing. He's like the AOC of Orthodoxy, lies flat out, and people who are not completely retarded can see it. Well, yeah, that's true. And I think that as we deal with these up-and-comer channels like Cleve to Antiquity, we're going to be dealing with ultimately people making very spurious arguments that aren't going to really travel as far. Because if you don't have 150,000 followers on YouTube to lie with, your lies are going to get caught a lot faster. And that's what a lot of these ortho bros are unfortunately going to discover, is that you can't create as big of a BS chain without the following to do it. Gabriel Michael says, some say Seraphim Rose is not a saint because he did not receive Orthodox triple immersion baptism. That was the rule of the Russian church at the time. No one's really going to dispute it. You can argue that if you want, but it's Gregory of Colorado who argues that, but he also argues that St. Elizabeth, the new martyr, was baptized in her blood. So I say that these positions are crazy. Let's see. A lot of these converts to World Orthodoxy are just cynical opportunists. Well, the worst part of our friend Ben here is that, to our knowledge, he isn't baptized yet. So I don't mind. I myself began doing apologetics as a catechumen. However, Cleve is kind of in it a little bit, I hate to say this, for the financial gain. And he uses his platform accordingly. Ironically, when I called him out on ecumenism a couple of weeks before this on one of his streams, not only did he block me, but he said that I did this for the money. Now, I hate to break it to people, but my whole year's salary, according to my taxes from all the donations and stuff, I think came out to, it was our combined. So take out 7, I think, from it was about 22,000 last year I made for the whole year. That's what I live on. It's not much, but I know how to do it. And the point is, this guy who is not even a baptized Orthodox is trying to take the place of Dyer, who at the very least I could say I'm pretty sure was a baptized World Orthodox. I don't know. But in any case, He's presenting himself as an expert on true orthodoxy based on lies. So let's continue.
Cards that you trigger somehow. So this is like the mode of operation that they're operating under, right? They don't think a bishop needs to apply these canons. They're just like, these are like a magic spell, you know?
Some canons require a bishop to apply them. Some canons are rules telling people how to live. Canon 15 is specifically one of those cases because it is specifically a failsafe that talks about when you need to deal with and not to protest the bishop, but if the bishop is a heretic, to flee and find another bishop. This is well known. That's literally what the canon says. That's literally what the interpretation says. But Ben, the new Balsamon, before, pre-baptism, of course, is claiming that that's not really what it says, and that you have to wait for. How do you apply a bishop on his own heresy? It's stupid. Yeah, Sunrise says a Hawaiian shirt Phronima. Yeah, it's like almost like he wants to pretend he's like, but maybe they got advance notice that Dyer was going to quit. Who knows? You do not have the Eastern Phronima. You don't have the noose. Jay is a lot smarter and more well-read than this guy. Yeah, I will give Dyer credit there. If this guy's going to be the new center of balance for the Ortho Bros, they're doomed. It's like the Titanic. Okay, let's continue.
Like you have activated my trap card.
Right. Okay, so what's the best steelman position of true orthodoxy, going back to, I guess, the origin splinter there is the calendar issue, right?
That's a valid question, Jim Bob. And I would say that the best steelman that you could use for true orthodoxy is history itself. You can present that in every single country throughout the world where there was a sizable population of Orthodox, that many of them protested against the calendar change. In some cases, the calendar change never happened. In some cases, the ecumenism came first. But there were always bodies that supported each other, and sometimes that crossed over into what we now know, like St. Nikolai Velimirovich was teaching in America when he sent the Greek Old Calendarist Chrism. And he was in the American Metropolia, which is now the OCA. So you have to realize that there's a complex web of history that really, after the foundation of SCOBA in 1960 and onward, they've been trying to clean up. Like, I mean, there's the shameful episode, for example, of what happened with the Theocacna and Eftymia Sophaish, who went and married and ended up retiring out of Orthodoxy. But when you've gotten to the level of cleanup where a guy is buried with his wife after apostatizing, you're not supposed to dig him up and move his body to Antiochian village to cover up the fact that one of your bishops gave up and got married. I'm not saying that he was right, but at least don't lie about history. And that's all these guys are about, is about revisionist history. So the steel man is that you can point to a historical origin for all of the true Orthodox churches and their continuity with the true church. So ultimately, that is the actual answer, Jim Bob. Cleve will not give you a real answer, as you are about to find out.
That's like is that ground zero?
I think they have, so people could say they have like some valid concerns. Okay, maybe they have some valid concerns about whether or not somebody did something that was kind of liberal or something like this.
Okay.
But to then split from the church over things like this and separate yourself from grace, this is where the issue is, right? It doesn't give you permission to set up parallel jurisdictions.
Okay.
This is like classic schism.
Translation. I don't have a steel man, Jim Bob, because he attempted to get a steel man to understand what our position was. But Cleve doesn't understand it because he doesn't know jack about history, and he's lying about us. So, Jim Bob, if you are listening, we recommend this book by Subdeacon Victorios Harrison called The History of Resistance. Came out 2 years ago, I believe it just under 2 years ago, and it has been a smashing success in over 350 something pages. I don't keep page counts in my head. It goes through the history of resistance and reorganization of the church from the apostles to the 20th century. And it has a really nice icon on it, and it's a hardcover. I highly recommend, before listening to any of these people about true orthodoxy, you read this book first. That way you will have a historical understanding of what we did, something you can get from reading the tripartite history, etc. Cleve is just repeating stuff he heard from Father Peter Hears on YouTube, as Maximos correctly noted. Okay, and here we go.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, for instance, I mean, even if you were to go back and you were to wrestle with theology or something, and you're looking at the Copts, okay, let's take like the non-Chalcedonian
He has changed the subject to heretics.
schism.
Okay.
You go back and you look at this, and you're like, oh, okay, well, you know what? I kind of land on this side. I kind of land on that side. No matter which way you land intellectually, that doesn't give you permission to then set up parallel jurisdictions, which is
Okay, the cops set up parallel jurisdictions because their leadership was literally condemned as heretical. So those parallel jurisdictions were protesting the Council of Chalcedon, which would mean that if they held to the condemned ideas in the Council of Chalcedon, they were heretics.
which is, you know, basically what the case is with these gentlemen here. But I think the largest issue is the points that they're making today aren't even the points that led to their splitting away in the first place. Because, like you said, initially it's the calendar issue, it's other things. Now they're saying, oh, it's ecumenism, oh, it's this, oh, it's that. Well, that wasn't the
We were saying it was ecumenism for literal decades. And as I've mentioned before, the people who first protested in the true Orthodox churches were protesting against being Frankified, Catholicized, etc.
original reason. And if you're going to say that, then go look at your history.
Mhm.
There's photos of true Orthodox archbishops behind the iconostasis with Anglicans.
Okay.
So
That is a reference to Metropolitan St. Vitali, who was ordained in an Anglican church that was lent to the church abroad as a kindness. They owned the building. It was not quite the ecumenical sort of encounter that Cleve wants to present it as. All right, let's get to some questions. This is irritating to no end. Let's see. The worst steel man ever, straight straw man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Cornelius says, I don't think Dyer will become true Orthodox, but one can pray for his own that he finds the truth, but he's too much of a real core onlyist. Who knows? Maybe now that he's retired from apologetics and he doesn't have to, save face or anything, he might consider it. Let's see here. Same old arguments for second Father Peter here. Absolutely. Matthew Manoy says the Owen Benjamin JB saga was wild. I don't think I want. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that. I didn't. That just sounds like internet drama. John says no, he wasn't. Kevin, it was a ring with a pizza. It had no ties to Pizzagate. You're reaching, and it's sad. Owen denies that Christ is God. Why would you take his statement as fact? Yeah, he seemed to be pro-Islam before he blocked me. Comparing true Orthodox with Monophysites, now that's a new low. Yeah, well. Roxology says, hello, traditionalist Hispanic Catholic here. With all due respect, Father, do you think that the J. Dyerites were never mentioning what went on in 1927 is an admission that they're operators? Not all of them, no. I think that they just, they were misled. And to that degree, I will say Jay did do some lying because he was wrestling with these questions himself. And that maybe that's where, Ben here thinks that he will succeed where his master has failed. Let's see. Isn't this guy in the Roquan P? Yes, I believe so, although I'm not sure. Shouldn't Cleves view that the Monophysites were the Orthodox and the Orthodox were schismatics for not being in communion with the heretics? He doesn't think that far ahead. So him tagging Satan as like Abramovich to get clout wasn't a part of that. I have no idea what you're talking about. Matthew says it is completely drama. And with that, let's get back to the video.
So I mean, flip the tables and look at, this would impact you as well at certain points in history. But this is a hotly contested thing because, you have the zealots, you have these people that are a little more. This is what Father Hears calls a temptation to the right. So it's like you have this disease of you have to be. It's almost like a Pharisaical desire to be right about every little piece of minutia.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the guy that walks into the church.
That's he's just being insulting now because not very few people in true Orthodox churches behave like this. He wouldn't know because he's never walked into one. But this is. I'm just amazed at how dishonest this guy is.
Church, and I'm not saying this about everybody, but I'm saying this is like the same mindset. It's like the guy that walks into the church and they're like, "Oh, well, actually, the candle holders are supposed to be red today."
Sure, yeah. It's like
we're a bunch of pedantic jerks.
The militant approach that you might even see with Western Orthodox converts. They're looking at every check mark. It's almost legalistic.
This is where we get to projection.
In a sense, they want to do it right. They want to get it right or whatever.
Right. I don't blame Jim Bob for it. He's being led down the kind of the drama on this by Cleve, who's just a liar.
Well, there's nothing wrong with wanting to get it right, but it's every little tiny thing. It's like when I was a Protestant, I'd say
That's not true.
new people would walk into the church and they check the pastor to see what color his tie is.
Right.
You know, oh, I don't like his color. His tie's a little blue.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know.
Come on.
We might not be able to come to this church anymore. Sorry,
yeah.
sweetie, grab the kids. We're leaving.
Yeah.
You know, like that. It seems like the same kind of mindset.
Okay.
But I mean, from a theological perspective, I guess my concern would be this, because you know, I've had plenty of conversations with Joseph Swayden and the others, and you know,
Let's see what else he gets wrong about me. Who is this Jim Bob guy? Jim Bob is a streamer who kind of works he's in that kind of Dyer access. He does a lot more debates, and so I know he does a lot of things with Andrew Wilson. And I mean, if I'm being honest, I think he's honestly and genuinely asking questions here, really believes we're evil villains and wants a good answer. And he's not going to get one from Ben because Ben is a liar. So let's continue. Let's see what he had to say about, you know, me this time.
Boniface, the monk that's
again, Father Boniface, you jerk.
In the trailer or whatever over there.
Father Boniface, for the record, I do want to clear this up. Because Father Boniface has made the joke about being in a trailer. Father Boniface does not live in a trailer. He has a house. He has a church, church. It's fairly big. He once owned a trailer, but I don't believe he lived in it. But the point is, the trailer is all just Jay Dyer with the stupid Diamond Brothers thing, and he's just applying it to Father Boniface unfairly. So, kick rocks, Ben.
I've had conversations with him in the past, and normally what it all boils down to is, well, I can see this bishop doing something liberal, I can see this other guy doing something liberal, so therefore this justifies.
Those are called examples. You don't. The reason I bring up examples is because I could point to your entire synod. We could point to any of these synods, and we could go one by one on either they're being ecumenist or they're justifying ecumenism. The reason that that's not a good general technique is because nobody wants to sit there and hear how all of their bishops are ecumenist heretics. However, the overwhelming majority of your bishops are ecumenist heretics. We use examples to help you understand that what you are promoting when you say anti-ecumenism is a lie.
Justifies me not being a part of the church.
Sure.
And actually, we're the real ones now. But they've got the same issues within their own communion, and they endlessly split with each other.
The same issues within their own communion, and I don't think you should really have the words endlessly split with each other in your mouth, considering how it's been since 2022.
Over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Over and over again. Oh, one of the great legends that these guys, well, I'm not saying Jim Bob here, but definitely Cleve, like to spread around, comes from Dyer, is that there are hundreds of groups. There are not hundreds of groups. There are national churches with factions in them. Now, granted, we have fewer national churches than World Orthodoxy, and that is because they made a lot of them up in the 20th century. The Church of Poland was not an autocephalous church until the 20th century. The Church of Romania was not a patriarchal church until the 20th century. About 14, not 14, I think it's 10 out of the 14 were made up in the 20th century. So that's one thing we will say that is very different. That back in our day, before the ecumenism, the Greco-Russian Orthodox Church was mostly considered Greco-Russian, even though it had a lot of national subdivisions. But it wasn't until the 20th century of ecumenism, Sergianism, modernism, and all the other garbage that they started making new national churches everywhere and reorganizing Orthodoxy and then saying, oh, it's the original church, when they're lying.
From that view, is there an actual normative process of affirming from their view a bishop? That's
yeah, they confess orthodoxy. When we make bishops, we have them read the Episcopal oath, except we are serious about it. Bishops are called to hold to the 7 ecumenical councils and the pan-Orthodox synods. You will not find a Bishop Alexander Golitsyn of the OCA there who says, I don't recognize the 5th ecumenical council. Upholding the ecumenical councils is literally your job. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Sad truth I noted in Roker P, where a lot of the Moscow want to reject the history. I've said to them before, I dare you to take out the icon of St. John of Shanghai. Yeah, they're afraid. All Rise says, why is Jim Bob not in color? I assume that's a stylistic choice. Kevin says, it was her. I remember Owen clicking on the page. Let me get, okay, I do not know about Owen and Marina Abramovich. I don't trust Owen. Owen's a weird guy. Orthodox traditionalist says, it's interesting how anti-intellectual they are and how many ahistorical and low IQ they tend to be within these circles. Sadly, and they live under the delusion that they are actually the most educated. Sunrise says, World Orthodox forgot about the Marble King. Not totally. Sometimes they still bring him up. They're very quiet and hushed about it because they know how embarrassing it is to believe we're going to be rescued by a Minecraft character. Latin Boy says, Father Boniface has a house with a beautiful, clean, and well-put-together chapel. He's an honest priest, speaks the truth. You know, you get that on the screen. You get that on the screen, Latin Boy 305. Even when he's alone with no one to back him up, and he does not slack at all when it comes to liturgy. He does not. And you can see him live on that if you go to his channel. Remember, look up Father Boniface Arms, and you can find his channel with him serving. Matthew says, if you have a problem with a preacher living in a trailer, then you need to read more scriptures. Look, I'm okay with monks and preachers living in trailers. I know it's happened, and I know that it still happened. I knew a World Orthodox priest who used to be true Orthodox and joined the Patriarchate of Constantinople. His house was a trailer in Florida, literally. Yeah, it's so obvious Cleve just wants to fit in. No, I think Cleve wants to lead. I think he wants to be part of the big boy club, as he puts it. He wants to succeed, Dyer. And I am not going to let this maniacal, constant liar do that. St. John of Shanghai had an Orthodox mission in a storage container. That is correct, sir. A garage sort of thing. Yep, absolutely. Recklin Kisa says, would Jim Bob host you, Father Joseph? I don't think so. And I don't know why he would. What I will say is that I am making this partially for him because he deserved better answers than the lies that he received from Ben. What are your views on the World Orthodox World War III and end of the world prophecies? Well, my view is this. If they are so far gone with ecumenism and Sergianism that I don't believe that they really probably have the grace of the mysteries, why would I think their prophecies are right? Like, none of these prophecies come from the early fathers. They're not part of standard Orthodox soteriology. They're modern fear and paranoia, in my opinion, and they're taking advantage of the fact that people are going through a very unique time in history, especially with the with everything from, like, you know, technological changes, AI, so on and so forth, to political changes, to learning about just how evil our elites really are. People are already jaded. People are already kind of afraid of what's happening. People are hearing horrible things. And, you know, the powers that be are doing horrible things. But now if someone sneaks in there, that's really where people are primed for apocalyptic belief. And so, sure, we say, come Lord Jesus. But one, he doesn't come on command. And two, I don't think these are the antichrists that are going to convince me. So, yeah, that's my thought. Ustratis Argenti, any thoughts on the Arab Orthodox movement? I believe more Arabs should be Orthodox. Cornelius says, Father Boniface hasn't been doing live streams for a bit. Is he all right? He actually was in my last live stream when I was with the layman apologist who will be hosting the debate we have on June 20th. He showed up towards the end, but he had some equipment issues. But yeah, no, I assume he'll be back. And I will say this, that I know Father Boniface is traveling. I don't know how much I can say on it, but I will say that he is visiting with other clergy, and he's doing things. So it's not like he's not here for no reason. He's busy. But he did offer to come on, and I said I kind of want to slam on this guy myself. And then it turns out he actually turned out to be busy because they do things over there. So, okay. Let me see here. Latin Boy says, no, I had the privilege to spend a good amount of time with Father Boniface when he was in Lakeland. Oh, okay, awesome. Let's see. Sunrise says, 2 more wiki. For what? What happened? What happens in 2 more wiki? Father, do you think dialectical proselytism is justified when it comes to evangelization prophetic office? Yeah, I do. Otherwise, I wouldn't do this channel. This is a live Q&A session. Like literally anyone could come on and ask questions, issue challenges, etc. So I think it is perfectly justified. But I will say I don't know if it's a prophetic office, because it is apologetics is something that can be done by lay people and has been historically as well. Father, they're not allowing Chud's Bible in prison. What do you think about this? He also got a higher bond than murderers and rapists. I hate talking about the Chud the Builder thing because there's something wrong there. There's something seriously wrong there. And what I mean by that is that it seems like a lot of this is worked up. There's a lot of emotional kind of appeals that are being made from this crowd of people. But the thing is, when we look at the hard facts of the situation, Chud did say he was going to kill someone and walk off free for it 2 weeks before this shooting happened. Now, granted, the guy survived, and Chud deleted his tweet, but any lawyer in America will tell you straight up that that's not encouraging for your defense, because saying I'm gonna kill a chimp and walk away, walk out of the courtroom a free man, and saying the season finale implying it'll be soon, and then coincidentally getting into a fight with someone that you shoot, yeah, I ain't touching that one. Matthew Metanoia says, I saw that you are debating Layman Seminary. That is correct, and that is going to be on June 20th. Again, is Free Grace Theology biblical? That is, going to be on the Layman Apologist channel. He's going to be moderating it, and we're going to go from there. Let's get back to Jimbo. Let's see here. 2 more weeks till Marble King. Oh, okay. I can't wait. Is that one of the prophecies? Yeah, supposedly. A lot of World Orthodox enthusiasts are for those prophecies are weird accelerationists. That's correct. The entire World War Now channel is based upon that. And I believe they're operating that they, more than a lot of other people, are definitely spouting straight up Kremlin lines. So
Like, could they say who is a true bishop and who's not a true bishop from their
yes, we do all the time.
From their position?
Yeah.
I guess it would depend on what do you mean by from their position, because there's several different groups that fall under this umbrella.
Mhm.
It's almost like Protestantism, right? You have the initial split, and from this
And once again, there are basic propositions in the canons that all true Orthodox use in the practice of making new bishops.
split, there's like 40,000 other splits. So you have these various groups. Like if you go follow and
First off, Protestantism, I'm even questioning the whole 40,000 other groups, because when you're dealing with subgroups, if you're dealing with like Temple Baptist Church and then, Alleluia Baptist Church down the block, and like they're basically the same belief, but they refer to themselves as not the same church, like that's a Protestantism problem, but it is not actually reflective of the reality. So, I mean, some Protestants are making the argument that maybe there's like 20 families of Protestants. I think that that's fair. But with Orthodoxy, we're so monolithic that even if you take a GOC Kalinikos church and a GOC Makarios church, they look the same, they sound the same, they worship the same, they do everything basically the same. You would have to be a very careful listener. I'm not just saying for Greeks, for Russians too, whether it's the Roak or the Artok, etc. You're not going to notice a big difference until you're listening to the commemorations. That's not the same as Protestantism, and our boy Ben here knows that.
any of these guys on social media, you'll see them taking jabs at each other. It's like, oh, you're like a Matthewite. Oh, you're like, this. Oh, you're like that. So it's this endless.
That's a few people like to attack Matthewites. I do not. And frankly, that's kind of stupid, because you guys use that terminology on us as much as we use it ourselves. So, that's really a pot kettle black thing.
This purity spiral. It's all subjective.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys do that too.
That's what I was seeing. That's what I was trying to understand from their view. Like, what is the actual true church authority, and how do they point to it? And you're saying, well, they have multiple people in multiple positions, so they're.
Orthodoxy is not patriarchal. It's not what's the word I'm looking for? Papal. It's synodical. So yeah, you would look to the synod level.
Maybe they don't have an answer to that. And if to have an answer to that, you'd have to
We have an answer to that.
actually keep, arguing your ecclesiology and your structure all the way back to the original church. So that's kind of how I look at it. I go, well, how do they point to the original church? Do they do the same thing that we would do and say, okay, let's.
Yes.
If I asked a Protestant, where's the true church in 400, the true Orthodox and the Eastern Orthodox would say the same thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And so, like, what I'm trying to find is like, well, what is this clear moment where they're distinguishing themselves as a body separate from another body?
All of that happened through a series of international conflicts, national conflicts, overturning of governments, all throughout the first 30 years of the 20th century, including the killing of the Tsar, the fall of monarchy throughout the Orthodox world, etc.
They'll cite canons and things like this that say.
No, we won't. That's a history question.
And again, there's probably somebody that can articulate this slightly better than I can. But I've had.
Strange that you've now presented yourself as not the expert when you kind of presented yourself as the expert for the past. Well, it's on 1.25, so for the past 7 minutes or so. But I guess he's finally admitting he doesn't know jack about us.
I've had several interactions with him in the past.
And that's your and you clearly lied about them as well.
And before I was journeying into Orthodoxy, I know they were trying to get me to be a part of their group, but there was no way.
Yeah, we actually were, because we thought you were operating in good faith. We didn't know that you had already converted and were basically just sneaking around on us.
Like, you can smell it from a mile away. This is all fake.
Smell it from a mile away. Like your incense, buddy, it's all fake. You can smell it from a mile away. You know, the problem I have with this individual is that I thought he was a better person than he was. And maybe he was a better person. I don't know. Maybe magically when he smelled the incense, he became evil. I have no idea. But I do know that this guy doesn't sound at all like the guy we met. And maybe this is the real guy, but in that case, that just makes him more devious.
But they pull up like these canons that say, oh, you should you can like flee a heretical bishop or whatever.
That's canon 15 of the First Second Synod. We pulled that up and we've said it, and we say it on almost every single broadcast. And it is the central reasoning for why we have this book, because it has been used for so many centuries.
And they'll try to twist this into being, okay, this then gives us permission to set up a parallel jurisdiction and run our own thing.
No, a parallel jurisdiction would be a responsibility. If you have a group of bishops who are separated from a heretical body, they are required to form a synod.
That's not the intent of these historical documents. It's not to say you can go set up your own parallel jurisdiction, parallel church.
And yet, we have 2,000 years of Orthodox setting up parallel churches against heretics.
So, I mean, it's a nuanced conversation. It can go much deeper than that.
Yeah,
I don't think you're capable of much deeper than that, Ben.
Even without getting into the weeds,
Mm-hmm.
You can tell on the surface it's just goofy. I mean, they've got people
goofy. My favorite word of 2026.
In trailer parks teaching theology.
Trailer parks. Here we go again.
That are ordained after like a couple of months. You know what I mean? Like,
that is not the standard anywhere. It is only the standard. And if we're talking about Father Boniface's case, we can also talk about other cases. It is only the standard with people who have actual liturgical and or pastoral experience. It is not the standard for everybody.
Like you've got just anybody that wants to try to be a priest.
It gets frustrating, doesn't it? Welcome, Matthew.
Hey, good evening.
Good evening. God bless you. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Welcome, reader John. Okay, I guess maybe Father Boniface will show up. Hopefully.
Father bless.
May God bless you in the name of the Father, and the Holy Spirit. I do want to get through this, guys. So, if you have questions or you want to start, I mean, I just want to finish this so we get it over with. We clip it and we definitively say, look, here you go, Jim Bob, and everyone who wonders if Ben's a liar. He is. It's getting later, so I'm definitely not going to go into all of the lies. So there's definitely more time for more people to send me lies so that I can do a whole Ben from Cleve to Antiquity is a big fat liar stream. So let me
or something, you're good to go, basically.
Yeah,
And that's not the case for all of them.
Yeah.
But the canonical.
This is the argument that, by the way, Reader John, I don't know if you caught this. He's arguing that we just ordain everyone at super speed. And he's
he's just Jay Dyer Jr. I mean, Jay Dyer
he wishes. He wishes. Jay Dyer had a brain.
Well, not always. I mean, Jay Dyer started out before he was baptized as well.
Right, and Jay Dyer also did a lot of lies. But the whole point is, Jay Dyer started from a different angle. He started from doing something else, and that's how he had a pre-baked audience.
Mhm.
This guy's trying to start from scratch to be like Jay Dyer 2.0, but he's not that. He doesn't present well. He doesn't really kind of have that.
Well, he lies.
He lies regularly. That's the thing. Jay Dyer lies, but he doesn't lie consistently. Like, as I mentioned earlier, the first day he announced his whole incense and Mother Mary thing, I got a message from the Anglican priest I had debated, who said Ben just lied about me all over the place and I was like, what? And I was horrified, but I didn't do anything. But I kept hearing more people. I see more people go, you're lying about me. This is a lie about us. So just all the way till now.
That's part of being an ortho bro, Father.
Well, this is gross. Really gross. Montage Guy Irene, I'll put that up on a free chat. Father Boniface is in Texas for another week yet. He is. God willing, he should be back by next Tuesday. But hopefully, I hope he's on a stream later on this week.
That's right. I remember he said, yeah, okay. I know where he's at.
Ben the Lying Hen. T-Gun says, evening reader John, any info on that Baptist and the Bolsheviks book? So I hope you can look for that. Rolloxology says it's shameful that the Tsars are passion bearers and not martyrs in the Moscow Patriarchate. Not going to say ROC because they're not the ROC. They're the Moscow Patriarchate.
Standards are very, very lax. Go
ahead.
I'm just saying I haven't forgotten. It's just there's a lot of medical stuff that happened this past week with my son and then me. So
I completely understand that.
Yeah. So
my question would be, if it's all about like this rigorism, then why are we not having people wait like 9 years before becoming priests? Why are we not actually?
Because that was actually never the standard in the canons. You should look that up. If you're going to say stupid things, at least get your numbers right.
Following the canons on, like, if your whole argument is, oh, we got to follow the canons to the T, then why is that not happening within your communion if that's the big argument?
Because that's not in the canons. You made it up.
You know what I mean? Like, it's inconsistent.
Yeah.
It seems kind of LARPy, but I'm sure there are people that belong to these groups that are genuine, so I'm not despairing.
What horrifies me is the comment that you see on the screen that says, becoming schismatic without following the canons is liberal. I'm amazed that these guys have gone from don't ever read the canons to they're not following the canons without knowing the canons in the scope of about 2 years.
Well, he's definitely pinning down becoming a hypocrite.
Yeah, well, it seems to be his modus operandi. So
disparaging everybody there. But I'm just saying, on its face, at least with the flavor that you see with guys like Joseph Sweden, it certainly seems like a kind of LARPy situation.
Yeah, Lawrence said
he didn't even call you father anymore.
Nope, he dropped that. But more importantly, the fact that he's calling me a LARP when he's actually trying to dress up like Jay Dyer with the Hawaiian shirts, like, maybe shut up.
Well, he's dressing up as an Orthodox. He's not even baptized as a World Orthodox yet, right?
I know. He is the most knowledgeable of all catechumens. If he is even a catechumen, inquirer.
Yeah, he's still an inquirer, and he speaks authoritatively like he knows stuff. And I mean, just listen.
And that's the worst part about this is that Jim Bob, I think, actually believes he's knowledgeable on this thing, and that's why I brought him on. Yeah. And I feel bad for him because he just lied so much. But let's continue.
Says becoming schismatic without following the canons is liberal. So that's right. So that's a good point. Now, like, as far as the calendar though, like, people making the argument that because especially now it seems relevant. You know, people accused Father Josiah Trenum for going on that goofy Girls Gone Bible show, and they're calling that ecumenist, and I don't see that as ecumenist. That's just.
I don't know that they called it ecumenist. Most of the people were upset because Girls Gone Bible is a reference to Girls Gone Wild, which is a porn series. That was really kind of the more scandalous aspect of it. I don't remember anyone being like it was about ecumenism, because that was on the heels of that other ortho girl who wrote a wrote an essay, and like the whole the whole orthosphere like went into like mode and so on and so forth. So I think that might have been for a different thing. Sunrise says, I didn't think World Orthodox could read the rudder. Fun fact, they couldn't. So this is all new and interesting. All of a sudden, you got catechumens claiming to read the rudder. If he's even a catechumen. Maybe he's an inquirer. Maybe he walked in, said, I want to become Orthodox. I have a YouTube channel. The priest is like, you have no YouTube channel? No. That. So, we don't know. We don't know if he's just an inquirer at this point. We have no idea. But he speaks with authority to make that cash.
That's like a type of outreach. That's a type of like interaction with people who are not Orthodox and trying to get them in the best language possible, get them to the true church. But, if that's not ecumenist, then where's this line of when something becomes ecumenist if the true Orthodox position is that the calendar issue, that's an act of ecumenism? The
calendar issue is an act of ecumenism, Jim Bob, and I don't know what Cleve's going to say because I wanted to throw my shoe at the screen in the first 5 minutes. But the answer to that question is actually because the purpose of the calendar, as established in the encyclical Unto the Churches of Christ Everywhere in 1920, specifically says what that was for. And that was to have a common calendar with the Anglicans.
Yeah.
It was literally a joint
ecumenism.
venture. That's ecumenism. Not going on Girls Gone Bible or something. It's obvious. Remember, keep in mind, Jim Bob, that most of these people, I'm addressing a lot of this to Jim Bob in case he watches it.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that I went on a bunch of Protestant shows because of the whole,
that's what I'm
Dyer,
saying. I don't see a problem with it.
Yeah, Jay Dyer versus Ruslan thing. I went on a few Protestant shows and I got to talk about true Orthodoxy. Every single one of the World Ortho Bros, the Wartho Bros that got mad at me said, I'm a hypocrite because that's ecumenism, which tells me they don't know what ecumenism actually is,
Ding, ding,
which
ding.
is the attempt to fuse religions together.
It's syncretism.
I am not, I think you mentioned, I think he mentions later, he says perennialism, which is just a mask for the word ecumenism.
Pretty much.
The accommodation of a more universal time way of operating. Like to me, isn't that like language? Like that's, to me, it's like, well, what's the criterion? Like if you had
dang it, I saw a sign for donations, and it's 10 o'clock. I gotta put it up. I know people are like, Father Joseph, he just loves talking about donations. That's all he does. I have not talked about donations once. Not once.
Yeah, it's been an hour.
And it's been over an hour. It's been an hour
Yeah.
and a half.
Yeah, sorry.
Help us keep the lights on. Support us by subscribing or donating at NFTU.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LTC, or XMR, or on GiveSendGo. Just look in the description. The goal this week is $250. We are currently at 0. For those wondering what the goal is for, while we did manage to take care of a lot of scary bills, we have regular bills. There is still the gas that needs to be paid, insurance that needs to be paid, phone bills that need to be paid, cell phone bills, if we're being specific. We don't have a landline. And so those are the ones we're trying to cover. Anything you can do, really appreciate it. As I mentioned, we're currently at 0, and our goal is 250. There, I've talked about donations for a whole minute. I really hope somebody gives. Okay, let's continue on. Let's see. Memento Mori says, greetings, Subdeacon. Oh, yeah. Lindorfer says Jay Dyer poisoned his mind. No, I think this guy's mind might have already been poisoned. Sean Sidonia said, we don't call it ecumenist to be on a Protestant channel. Soren calls it ecumenism to have multiple prots on a channel. Father Josiah had a marriage conference with prots and Catholics. Yeah, I feel like they selectively use ecumenism as a catch-all term for stuff I don't like, and that's not how it works. Let's see here. Orthodox Traditionalist says, if you want to see ecumenism, read my 2025 chronology seriously. I hope you're doing 2026. That is a fantastic chronology.
I think he's compiling as it goes.
Yeah, for those who haven't seen it, I'm actually just going to put that on the screen. Hold on, let's. Okay. If you go here, let's share this instead because we are high information people here. You go to books on orthodoxtraditionalist.com. That's Orthodox Traditionalist Publications, and you click on Chronology of Ecumenism. You can get all of 2025's ecumenical events, 164 pages worth. This is just last year. Free.
Yeah.
That's right. Absolutely free. You can just go to orthodoxtraditionalist.com. Once again, I will show it to you again. You go there, you go to books, chronology of ecumenism, and download it free.
Or as I
You
call
see
it,
that?
or as I call it, the World Orthodox blooper reel.
Yes, exactly. Except none of those were by accident. So that's that. So all right, let me finish. We got to finish here. Got to finish.
Cleveland modernity.
Okay, Memento Mori's asking a question. You're selective and when asked about Theodore of Mopsuestia and whether he was a heretic. Do you know what that's in reference to? I have no idea what you're talking about.
His writings were condemned.
Yeah, his writings were condemned. I have no idea what else you're talking about.
Yeah.
What about actual examples of resistance from within in church history? They don't exist. It's a made-up thing by Father Peter Heers. Just updated the 2026. It's 128 pages. So at the end of the year, we're going to get the whole chronology of 2026 ecumenism.
Wait. We're 6 months in, and it's almost as long as last year's.
It's going to be even bigger. This is crazy. So if you want to catch up, go to the annual chronology of heretical World Orthodox ecumenism. And Jim Bob, if you want to know what ecumenism really is, take a look at that, and you'll notice the theme. All right, let's get back.
Yep.
Adopt new language. Is that serving the worldliness from an Orthodox position? I don't think so. You're taking someone's culture. You're not asking them to change their language to like Greek or something. Ultimately, if there's a country like, let's say Japan, let's say we baptize all of Japan into Orthodoxy. From the true Orthodox position, is it ecumenist to alter and to accommodate their language and some of their?
No, it's actually not.
Oh my goodness, he's so retarded. He doesn't know how missionary.
Well, I will say this. I will say, to be fair, before just calling him retarded, all Orthodox, whether World Orthodox or True Orthodox, have a horrible track record on language. We sometimes we do good, but we often do bad.
Well, I don't think he's talking about language. I think he's like adopting some of the culture. I mean, we have done that as Orthodox.
Yeah, that's part of our history, but he probably thinks we do something different. And because
I know he does.
He doesn't know that this is not ecumenism. That's just church development. He's trying to figure out what's ecumenism, and he's not getting a good answer.
Oh, well, yeah.
Customs into Orthodoxy?
Well, I mean, I without even getting into the weeds, because the calendar question is extremely nuanced, and depending on what you say, you're going to
nuanced
piss off people on either side.
Okay.
Not even in the true Orthodox world, but within the canonical Orthodox world as well.
Oh, you try to push the world. You try to push the new calendar, and you got yelled at.
So I think without even diving into the intricacies of this position, if that was the case, then why is Joseph Slayton going on to the Protestant podcast to do the exact same thing they accuse Father Josiah Trenum?
Note: our man has said nothing. He has said absolutely nothing. He said stuff about nuance. This is ridiculous.
What did you do to Ben? You hurt his feelings or something?
He's definitely taking the Father Peter Heers approach with a word salad that doesn't even actually mean anything.
This is nothing.
Yeah.
Set to compromise says Cleve has started talking like Andrew Wilson recently. He said, "Shut your mouth."
Well, he got his mouth shut too.
My friend Andrew Wilson is a good guy.
He got his mouth shut.
Says, Andrew's how dare you? Shut up. You're not allowed to talk anymore. You can talk all day long about Jay Dyer, but don't you mess with Andrew Wilson. Memento Mori says, I meant to post in the cafe, but it's been down. I will get to it. I promise I'm going to try to get to it by Thursday. I'm going to try to have it fixed by Thursday. Thank you, Sunrise, for $19.99. Oh,
thank you, Sunrise.
I really use. I'm really. Here's the thing. I'm broke, guys. Like seriously, for the raw milk fund. Oh, I'll take it. Thank you so much. And let's put that in. The banner. And so we're now down to 230 is the goal, with 20 down from Sunrise. Thank you so much once again for the super chat. Actually, I think I am going to, with donations, I'm going to probably mention them more. So every time, I'm waiting. Let's see here.
And thank you for hopping up on that live stream the other day. I appreciate it. It was so good.
Yeah, very true. Let's see. Set to Compromise says, haha. Have you listened, even talked to Edward lately, Father? I have not. But I will. I honestly, I will say that internally, he's got integrity, and I'm not going to talk bad about him. Let's see here. So you guys can be mean, but I won't. He's been going off the deep end with the pro-Trump stuff. Again, it's a confusing and horrifying time. So
he doesn't hide it. He's a nationalist.
Yeah. So what?
Well, I think he's a debater.
Yeah, he is. So
it wouldn't matter the topic. He's just a debater.
I'm just affirming his position. He says he's a nationalist. Why wouldn't he be pro-Trump?
Yeah, some people are still pro-Trump, Sunrise. It shocks me, but yeah. Once again,
the Ortho Bros do have their own version of like nationalism, which is some weird like Byzantine, like sci-fi fantasy LARPing.
The marble.
Yeah.
Well, they're just trying to make an empire great again.
All right.
I mean, cool.
All right, help keep the lights on. Support us by subscribing or donating at NFTU.net with various options like PayPal, Cash App, BTC, LTC, or XMR, or on Give Us and Go. Just look in the description. I'm going to play this. I might actually speed this up a little more. I hope it doesn't sound terrible. Let's find out.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to do 110. 115, so the 125.
Yeah. Because the podcast that you're referencing is him on a Protestant channel.
Mm-hmm.
So how is that any different than Father Josiah's random going on Girls Gone Bible to evangelize?
I never said anything about that. Why am I being blamed for people criticizing Father Josiah Trenum? Like, I have nothing to do with it. They're like, oh, well, Sweden went on a Protestant channel too. I wasn't attacking you.
Talking about true.
But I would also say those two things are not equal. Like him going on a show called Girls Gone Bible. Is it I don't know what that is. Is it a bunch of like college girls?
No, it's two women talking about the Bible.
Are they trying to present themselves as attractive? Like, why is it Girls Gone Bible? That is a strange title.
I think it's
merchandising.
It's tacky. I think the girls are both blonde. I don't remember if they're attractive or not.
It looks good on merch.
Yeah,
well, let's be honest.
Okay. So, but to me, it's not that big a deal.
I don't think that's the same thing either.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get back to this and watch as Cleve continues to lie to Jim Bob.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's why I want to know. Like, people are using the word pretty liberally now. As far as what's a humanist? What is it? It's like to me, I look at Catholicism. If I want a really good representation of what it looks like, to sort of like try to smuggle every view under the umbrella. But maybe that's
Jim Bob. It looks exactly the same. It's the same, and it's with the same people. Like they ecumenize with each other. So you will find that the biggest ecumenical partner for World Orthodoxy is the Roman Catholic Church. You'll find that out if you use that handy handbook of 2025's ecumenism. Just download it. It's free.
Father, is that a verb? Ecumenize.
Ecumenize is actually a recognized verb. Unlike schism or schism, one can, in fact, see, I type in ecumenize and it points to ecumenism. Let me see here if I can get ecumenize. But I'm pretty sure that because this is one thing that surprises people, to go into schism is actually the term in the 1800s you find is schismatize.
How dare you be proper?
Yeah. So anyway, but that's just the basic rules of English because I was an English teacher once upon a time. All right, let's go.
Maybe that's more rigorously defined as like perennialism or something like that.
Well,
see, now that's the point. Poor fellow thinks that perennialism is a unique thing. It's actually ecumenism. That's what it is, Jim Bob. It's what it is.
And it's not necessarily trying to make this one world religion. They're just saying like,
yeah, no. That's literally the root of it.
It really is.
That's the root of it, buddy. But of course, because Cleve is just lying, he's like, no, that's not the point. Yeah, that's the point. If you read Orthodoxy and the Religion of the Future, Jim Bob, you will see that the one world religion is exactly the point. And Ben here is lying to you, Jim Bob.
Pay no attention to that patriarch behind the curtain.
Yeah, exactly.
It's leading towards that. There's a book. Let me grab this real quick. Put it here on my nightstand. Just a second. There's a book here. It's no longer in print. This is a very expensive book. Here, it's by Clark Carlton. It's called The Way. And in the end of this text, it talks about the goal of the Orthodox Church joining the WCC, which is the World Council of Churches. And he makes the argument that it's a little bit misguided but that the intent in joining it isn't necessarily what you would say for like the Roman Catholics or the Protestants.
Oh. He's introducing Jim Bob to the WCC rabbit hole, but trying to skirt the edge.
I can't believe he's quoting Clark Carlton.
Yeah, I know. I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
They're joining this organization to say, oh, look at all these things we have in common. Here's this, we can like unite around commonality.
Mhm.
Clark Carlton makes the argument that the purpose initially for joining the WCC was more evangelistic.
Yeah,
but
that
since
was
really hasn't been
that
effective.
was true in 1954, but it's not true now, and it hasn't been true since about 7 years after that. So
Amazing what happens in 7 decades.
yeah, ridiculous.
He honestly makes the argument that they should withdraw. My personal opinions on that don't really matter much, but that's the argument that Clark Carlton made. This book's no longer in print, though. This is very expensive now. It's like $100-something, but
Wow.
Oh, hey, look, it's Sean. Sean shows up in the chat there. He says, I'm true Orthodox. We don't believe we are schismatic or became schismatic. We're just holding to the faith. Good on you, Sean. Well
interesting.
done.
I mean, there's a lot of history, dude. This is why if you get, I mean, there's 2,000 years of history. This is why if you get super autistic about like minutia of various historical facts, like
Oh, gosh, if we get super autistic about 2,000 years of Orthodox history, oh, my gosh, we might actually be Orthodox.
oh, who did something right, who did something wrong? Like was somebody a big meanie in 1640 or something?
Sure.
That's exactly how you're supposed to read the history. You're supposed to find out who's doing the Orthodox thing and the not Orthodox thing.
The not Orthodox thing being heresy.
Yeah. Let's see. Father Joseph, you're giving a student an F for using schism as a verb. You're right, I will. I will every time. Jim Bob is straight beard stroking maxing. Imagine defending the WCC, but that is where we are with Ben. Ben being a liar. Oh, Sean, hey, okay. That's fine.
Sure.
Okay, guy was big meanie. Does that justify you splitting off from Christchurch? Like,
Yeah.
ultimately,
Big meanie is not a thing. Heretic's a thing. We can tolerate millennia of big meanies. We cannot tolerate heresy.
that's what it boils down to.
Sean here says he's a true Orthodox. He says we don't believe we're schismatic or became schismatic. We are just holding to the faith. But just to clarify, Sean, but you do, as a true Orthodox, you have to hold that Eastern Orthodox are schismatic, right? Because that's
World Orthodox. We consider ourselves the Eastern Orthodox, Jim Bob.
Yeah,
Because Eastern Orthodoxy is a pretty old term.
See how
Yeah.
he phrases it? It's the same thing Christoph was doing.
Right. And this is a big problem that, we find is that is World Orthodoxy's dumbest argument is to
Yep.
say you're true Orthodox, not Eastern Orthodox.
Who-
To a true Orthodox, there is no distinction. We're Eastern Orthodox.
To
We
whom
think-
I go back to and say who innovated.
Yep, exactly.
that's like, wouldn't that be the deeper point to defend? Of course, you don't think you're schismatic. No church would say they are schismatic. They believe.
Oh,
they're-
you'd be surprised, but that is baked into the question, Jim Bob. When you're saying something like you're not the Eastern Church, the Eastern Orthodox Church, you're the true Orthodox Church, you're literally baking that premise into the question. Every single person who does that is baking that into the premise. Just for your consideration.
they're the true church, right? But wouldn't you have to say that the world, as you guys refer to, the world Orthodox, they're all
Much more accurate.
the true schismatics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of them might articulate it a little bit differently, but yeah.
No,
I mean,
no, we wouldn't. He's exactly right. Stop lying, Ben.
I would say
Question for
they might
Craig.
make the argument,
Jim,
oh,
Bob,
they
and
fall
Tony have
automatically
used the
under
card that I
this
paid
canon,
in.
therefore they're
Do you
no
want
longer
a boy?
valid or something, like it's a magic trap card that's sprung on you. That doesn't
Magic trap card.
seem to be the way that canon law is applied, even according to the
What
Rota.
game is he referring to, by the way? This trap card thing? There must be some game. Is it Uno? Is it Yu-Gi-Oh or Magic? I don't know. I don't know what he keeps referring to this stupid card.
And again, there are people who can articulate this much better than I, but I say this as somebody who had to wrestle with some of these questions before journeying into the Orthodox Church, because these were some of the critiques that I had when I was a Protestant. And, I brought these up, and not all of these exact arguments.
This
You're
is part of
still
the
technically-
reason why
You
many
still technically
Protestants.
are Protestant.
Yeah, you're still technically Protestant. You're not Orthodox. But even more important, this is one of the reasons why many Protestants pointed out the inconsistency of World Orthodox. Not the least of who is Gavin Hortland, and as well as others. Again, my fault for not stepping in there years ago. But the point is, now that Ruslan's asking the question and other Protestants are asking the question, they deserve an answer.
That's
And they
interesting.
deserve a legitimate answer. You can't call yourself one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church and at the same time believe that there's multiple churches that are salvific. You can't.
That's kind of funny how the Protestants see our position as more consistent than the World Orthodox.
But that's because our position is more consistent because it matches the rest of the
Oh, yeah.
2,000 years.
Exactly.
We're
that's
not
my
the
point.
invented religion of, the 20th century.
Yeah.
But he's-
They have no.
Well, it's also just very easy to tell when someone just joined Orthodoxy and they're pretending to have this extensive knowledge about 2,000 years of councils in Christendom, and they're
Yeah.
just making it up. They don't know any of that stuff.
Yeah. That's the
See, the
you know what?
Protestant gets it again.
yeah, but I'll tell you that actually came from you won't believe this, but that originally came from Roman Catholicism. Roman Catholics used to love to say that because I used to love challenging them on that because they'd be like, "Yeah, I know all the fathers." Oh, you do? Do you? Oh, wait, hold on. Just got to double check this. Wow, big help. Hold on.
Biggie.
Okay, thank you so much. First off, MH with $111 donation. Thank you so much. Hold on, please.
So now we're at 131.
Yeah, which is not bad considering our goal is 250. We have a legit chance now. MH, thank you for helping us literally keep the lights on. As we are now at 131 of 250. So the goal is now
119.
119, yeah. 119 now. 250 divided by 4. Hold on.
That means we're $56 away. 187, right?
Yeah. Well, no, not even 180. Well, yeah, 56. Yeah, 187. So we're $56 away from staying for an additional half hour. We will stay till 11 if we can make it to the 187. We're currently at 131. And if we make it to the 250, we will stay till 11:30. So let's continue on.
My dialogue with Jay. And I had to untangle these before I journeyed into the church. But let me just find this citation here because this is something that Father Hears discusses a lot.
Wait,
can you tell my audience what the rudder is?
It's Father Peter. Oh my gosh, he sounds awful.
Wait, hold on. We need to have a. Let me see here.
Even Father Peter corrects people that say Father Hears. Come on.
Father Hears. Let me see here.
Although he's probably closer to a Roman Catholic now, being Romanian.
Yeah, that's true. Let me see. I'm looking here. Okay, you know what? I'll say this. Instead of saying boo, we got to give Jay Dyer his props and say thank you. Now that thank you very,
Thank you
very
for
much.
resigning, retiring, whatever. Yay. Winning.
Okay, so Paul with $9.99. Thank you so much, getting us closer to that goal. So
41.
Did Jay leave Orthodoxy?
no, he didn't.
Technically, he never came, but
no, he left apologetics. He's going to talk about like pop stars and conspiracy theories.
Technically, he never came to that either.
So yeah, once again, we are now at 141. If we can get to 187, we will stay till 11. If we can get to the 250, we will stay till 11:30. So let's continue on.
It's by Saint Nicodemus of the Holy Mountain. It's their book on canon law. Hold on one moment. It's one of our books on canon law, but it's by Saint Nicodemus. Give me just a moment.
It's actually the commentary on the.
Let me see if I can find the citation here from the rudder, because this is something that Father Hears.
He's talking about the rudder.
Can you tell my audience what the rudder is? People may very well never.
He's saying it's a separate book. What an idiot.
Yeah, this is funny. I feel bad for Jim Bob that he's getting like misinformed by this, but the rudder is the canons. It's the canons as collected by Saint Nicodemus, and it has commentary on each canon underneath from the saint. So there you go.
It's by Saint Nicodemus of the Holy Mountain. It's their book on canon law.
Their book on canon law.
It's one of our books on canon law, but it's by Saint
One of our books on
the
canon.
Pedalian even.
Citation I'm looking for. Basically, it says like too long didn't read. Canons are not like magic
too
spells
long didn't read. I think that's your problem with Orthodoxy in general, Ben.
that activate
Well,
automatically.
to be fair, the
That
rudder
activate
is TLDR for most people.
Yeah, well, it is, but you're not supposed to use it that way.
So, including excommunications.
So it's not like Harry Potter?
Yeah, exactly. It's like
It's better than Harry Potter, Jim Bob. It's better.
have all of these traps for you. Oh, you said the wrong thing. Now you are automatically
yeah.
considered the darkness.
Right.
Oh gosh, they're making Harry Potter references. Okay, now I'm okay. I don't know. Do we cheer?
I'm dry heaving a lot. Do you have a dry heave one?
Do I have a dry heave one? Let me see. Hold
Like
on.
a vomit one?
I should look for a vomit one. I do not have a vomit one.
Oh,
Let me see if there's any. Yeah, no. Well, we have the. You know what?
sad trombone. The gong.
Yeah, that's I just find it interesting, just like how what's making True Orthodox maintain such a small population, right? Like
he has no idea. Jim Bob, it's a much bigger population than you realize. But you're not ready for that conversation.
like is like how do you like what's the methodology for converting someone from Protestantism or even Catholic or even Eastern Orthodox to true Orthodoxy? I like from what I
Because it's the Orthodox faith, and that's why I talk to Protestants and Roman Catholics and so on.
But also, why would popularity matter at all?
Yeah, that's a numbers argument again.
Yeah, it's the numbers argument. It's very common, very papist.
I've seen, there really isn't like a clear cut argumentation that I've seen. It's just like these little details, like you said, they're chasing little details, but I really don't think that details end up moving people ultimately. Maybe I'm wrong, but like I just don't see that as
You're wrong.
Because you're wrong, but
as a promising.
Well, it's ultimately it's like there's something that Father Seraphim Rose said. Saint Seraphim Rose said. He said
Saint Seraphim was in communion with the true Orthodox.
You know, some people
Technically, he's not a saint for you guys.
Every little facet, even if it's contested, even if it's better left up to the bishops to decide these things, individuals choose to take these things upon themselves. And it's like, this is my hill I'm going to die on. You know, like my priest must agree 100% with me. My bishop must agree with 100% with me. Well, I mean, that's
literally not what's happening, and nobody does that. Why are you lying?
He's just
lying, Ben. That's all he does. He just lies.
Lying, Ben.
Really just making a religion where you are kind of like idolizing yourself over, you know. But this was
idolizing yourself. You know, so many people have been martyred and so many people have been persecuted. You're a shameful rat, dude. You're like, honestly, a shameful creature. You start by attacking venerable old priests. You attack the martyrs and call them proud. You're a disgusting person, man. Like, honestly. And I'm afraid for Jim Bob, who thinks you're an expert when you're just a liar. But it's okay, because we're only just getting started today.
I see why he couldn't hack it in Protestantism. They probably saw his inconsistencies.
Oh, 100%.
Hey, yeah, that's true. Yeah, why couldn't he? Why? You know?
Well, I mean, I thought one of the things that you guys aren't going to like this answer, but one of the things that got me stop listening to Ben was he started pushing for regenerative baptismal stuff, and I was like, well, wait a minute, where so you have to be baptized to be saved, and yes, okay, well then how is this baptism done? Like, which church does it have to be in? You're going to have to be more specific. Like, can anyone just dunk anybody in water? And he didn't want to. Used to be, I don't know if a lot of you guys remember, but when he was doing his Protestant stuff, I did follow him for maybe a few months, and his main thing was he did not want to debate with Protestants ever. And he would debate with Orthodoxy, Catholics, or anything or something like that. But
you remember he had us on, and so this is why, like, even his presentation about us is so deceitful. Let me see here. Sunrise says Esoteric Hollywood 3. Cornelia says, I wouldn't wish upon my worst enemy to be in the new calendar Romanian Patriarchate. It's graceless now. I'm certain they've spat in the face of Orthodoxy completely in the past few years. A quarter of the Romanian population is true Orthodox. That's at least 5 million, could be even more.
Glory to God.
I defer to the folks from the BOSVR who are in our church here. So yeah, if that's the number, that's incredible. I thought it was closer to a little. I thought it was a little closer to like 16 to 18%, but 20% is huge. 25 or a quarter is 25%. Cornelia says also South Ossetia is 100% true Orthodox. That is true. That was one of
we don't die, we multiply.
Yep. So yeah, the idea is that we're like tiny here is really shameful and sad. We are going till 11, everyone. As you notice, I don't know. Did we make it to 11 or no? Did we make it to 187? We didn't make it to 187. Okay, so we're gonna end. I'm gonna give it another 10 minutes. If we can get to 187, which is $46 in 10 minutes, then I will stay till okay, well, it's over. It's over. Okay. JB, JB. The
That's
big
Jim Bob.
victory.
Jim Bob.
I don't think it's Jim Bob. It's
That'd
definitely,
be,
I will say,
that'd be hilarious.
I knew he would pull through. I knew he would pull through.
For first off, for security's sake, I always use letters.
I know.
I would love to say that was Jim Bob, but it was not Jim Bob.
That'd be
JB,
hilarious.
that would be
All the
awesome.
light.
That'd be awesome. And MH is in PayPal, and JB in Cash App just sent $100.
100. Whoa. Okay, we're done.
We're now at 241. Oh, so we're
Come
actually
on, guys. $9.
We're $9 short from the ultimate goal, and we are staying till 11, and hopefully we'll stay till 11:30. Anyway, if we can make that $9, we're so close though.
Get some change.
Close.
Get change out of your couch.
Get the change.
Go to your car.
Lock the doors.
Lock the door. Close the doors.
Close the doors. Close the doors. All right. So that's awesome. Thank you so much, JB. And we are now $9 away from the end. So let's get to this final. Part of this depressing interview where this guy lies.
I'm gonna steal Father's word. Brouhaha.
Let me see here. Whoa. All of a sudden. Oh my gosh. People are going crazy here. Sunrise says, we're not ending the stream until we get $50,000. That's insane. That's
Close the doors.
probably not what's gonna happen. Bob with a super chat. Did you see Abbott Triffin claiming Father Seraphim would have been a leader in the unification with Moscow? I could not watch that much Young Penitent.
Oh, the Young Penitent thing?
I will watch it now. I will watch it.
That was gross.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. I was like, I couldn't. The problem is this. I find Abbott Triffin so obnoxious because he
repulsive.
puts these airs of spirituality, and it's so fake, and it just makes me angry because he's such an ecumenist. So no, I did not see that, but now that you mention it,
that's interesting. Young Penitents on there. I'm just saying.
Well, don't get me started with Young Penitents. we in a beef right now. Okay, so let me see here. Hermit Dub, so that's $10 Canadian. Cornelio with €5. I know you won't receive every single penny of this, but I hope this donation will suffice. We're already over. Ustratius Argenti, so $10 Canadian. This is huge. Okay,
I'm losing track now.
Bob wants to watch this, and we'll get it once we finish this. We will definitely get to it because we are staying till 11:30. We're here for another hour. Let's go. And that was 25. So let's put that in. Hold on.
So wait a second. Wait, 25. It's 266. 270s. Was that 10?
Yeah.
276. So it was 10 and 25, right?
No, it's 10 and 15.
10 and 15. Oh, okay. 25.
That's
So 266. Yeah.
We are now over by 16.
Okay.
We made it. So it's
but if you give that 50,000, we'll
we
stay on.
get to that 50,000, we'll stay for 4 nights in a row. No, I'm kidding.
He will. I won't.
So once again, thank you. We did make it. So it's time for the sound.
Winning.
So we did it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. So let's get back here. Let's see. South Ossetia is 100% Troy, which Synod, GOC Kalinikos. That is because of the merger with the Synod Resistance. South Ossetia was under them for quite a while. Australius as well. Also, those were pound sterling, Father. Okay. I don't know what that means. Should I add like money or I don't know how much the pound sterling is worth now.
More than $1.
Well, yeah, but it balances out because Canadian dollars, I think, are slightly less than $1. So,
no. Pound sterling is that British?
Yeah, that's British. Okay, so let's continue.
This is St. Nicodemus. This is a footnote to Canon 3, the Holy Apostles. The header of this is canons cannot defrock or excommunicate. So they can't do that by themselves. it's a little bit of a longer citation. So the penalties provided by the canon, such as deposition, excommunication, anathematization, are imposed in the third person. According to grammatical usage, there being no imperative available in such cases in order to express a command, the second person would be necessary. I'm going to explain the matter better. The canons command the synod of living bishops to depose the priests, or to excommunicate them, or to anathematize laymen who violate the canons. So it's the bishops that have to apply them.
Okay.
It's not us. It's not us thinking in our own head. Oh, well, it seems like this guy violated this, so he's activated the trap card. Therefore, this justifies me running off and starting my own trailer park church.
Right.
Like,
Wow.
it's like you kind of want to punch the guy for just lying.
Dude, what in the world, man?
You
Does
just
he
kind
smoke-
of you want
does he
you
smoke
kind of
weed?
want. But that doesn't even sound like
No
weed.
way.
That sounds like such a just dishonest, absolutely slappable. Oh my gosh, this is awful.
I mean, what would he think about the apostles who walked around naked and were beaten and had nowhere to sleep and slept outside and were, shunned everywhere they went? I mean, they didn't even have a trailer to sleep in. I don't think that would be very impressive to Ben.
Yeah,
Well,
but,
I mean,
you know,
I think you would have a problem with denying yourself, taking up your cross,
Yeah.
following Christ.
Estradius Organi says canons cannot defrock or excommunicate, but violating the canons automatically results in a loss of grace in the Eucharist. Other sacraments like ordinations and baptisms are still valid. Baptism becomes iffy over time, but yeah, you do have to perform a deposition.
Yeah.
Orthodox John says Timu J. Dyer. I mean,
if it's,
we would have been going with that with the, Timu J. Dyer actually does work. I think we're going to stick with Timu J.
I actually
Dyer.
feel bad for Timu.
I never feel bad for Timu.
Okay.
Okay, so let's continue. Oh wow, we've still got 11 minutes.
Right.
Like, that's not the case.
Right.
And anybody thinking that way,
Isn't that liberal? Isn't that itself a liberal activity?
yeah.
Oh, I hate how they couch it in political terms.
Well, that's because from their
Because
perspective,
he's still a Protestant. Yeah.
Orthodoxy is right wing, and it's the most rightest wingest ever stuff. So
But that's not how Orthodoxy thinks. It's
but they're getting that education piece by piece.
J. Dyer School
Well, Jay Dyer is no
of
longer
School of Philosophy.
Jay Dyer no longer is no longer the principal. So, it's now back to the World Orthodox bishops, and I don't know how they feel about it, but once again, to Jay Dyer, peace out, dog.
See ya.
See ya.
And you're just running off and doing your own thing.
Right.
This is like Enlightenment philosophy seeped into Orthodoxy, except for it's more about strict rule keeping. But
Enlightenment philosophy, say it can project.
Philosophy, huh?
Enlightenment philosophy, dude. That's what Saint Vladimir is teaching. You should be ashamed of yourself, dude. He's just I don't know how many lies. I should have got a counter.
He's not lying. No, Father. To be fair, he's not lying. He's regurgitating. He's absorbing this for like ancient faith and patristic nectar and all those, and regurgitating
Fair enough.
Trying to see. He's trying to make it sound authoritative, and Jim Bob's like, "What?
Fair
What are you talking about,
okay.
dude?"
It's some of it's okay. Yeah, some of it's not lying. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
Or
retarded. Yes.
they're not punishing people strict enough to my taste. So
Yeah. Sean says, yes, we would say the same.
Yeah, it's just not a critter. Thank you, Sean. Once again, Sean wins with the comments. Let's see how they respond.
It's not just a fruitful critique to say becoming schismatic is liberal. Well, I wouldn't say that's the full critique of it, but if you're going to say true orthodoxy is the most militant, anti-ecumenist, anti-liberal position, if there's one major movement you guys made that would be considered liberal, then there's a bit of a inconsistency. That's what we're saying? Is that if that's
But you're still wrong
not
on
free of
that,
their own
Jim Bob.
critique.
None of this
Like,
makes
if they're
sense.
going to say, well, they're not applying the canon strict
Who's
enough.
the
right?
we he's
Why are you
referring
ordaining
to?
priests
Yeah, you're still not in any church, dude. You're not even like a layman in the OCA, so stop. You're not. There's no we.
He's a good guy. He fell into it.
I mean, I could be wrong. They could have done the Purge of the Catechumen over him, but
They could have, and I don't think they did. And I don't think this YouTube channel's blessed. So we'll see.
obviously,
like less than a year of being members of your church. Why are you loosening all of these?
Here
hands
we
up
go.
and why are
Thanks,
there pictures of
Cleve.
angels?
There have been several videos on the GOC America channel that slam St. Seraphim, but I didn't know much about the GOC till now. Once again, the Gregory of Colorado, that's their trap card, is Gregory of Colorado, is that they have to keep bringing them up. I don't even know what a trap card is, but that's their trap card. And so, they'll talk about Gregory of Colorado because even though we have said how many times till we were blue in the face that guy's not part of the church, nobody in true Orthodoxy all over the world recognizes him, but they're like, but Gregory of Colorado down.
Anglicans behind the iconostasis and true Orthodox churches. If this is the critique that you have against us, right?
Yeah.
Why are a lot of these groups utilized by foreign intelligence agencies? Like there's so many.
Oh, come on.
Oh my
Come
goodness!
on.
Really?
Come on, Ben.
Ben needs to do some more
utilized around a particular
research.
subject. A lot of these.
No,
like,
I think he knows. I think he knows. That's the worst part.
Well, see, the hardest
systematic
part is
groups.
pointing out to them that it's this attitude they're having right now is what led them into this to begin with. This, like, I know more than everybody else. This is what causes
That's a valid point, man.
I mean, this is what causes the itching ears, and this is what, when they see Jay Dyer, it's like the lights of the holy lights just come on, and it's bizarre. It reminds me of when I became an atheist and started watching Christopher Hitchens debate when he was alive. And was a huge follower of his. It was the same. Like, I watched his debates like a Super Bowl, and it was like everything he said was true. He knew more about Christianity than all the Christians he debated, and it feels similar to me.
Yeah, but
Weird.
at least Christopher Hitchens, I'll give you, he was entertaining.
Yeah, he was entertaining. He was entertaining.
That's
He
true.
really didn't.
That's the worst part of this. That, if this guy is Timu Jay Dyer, at the very least, Jay Dyer was once. I don't want to say he was regularly entertaining. He was kind of more like, like watching a bad movie that's inadvertently funny.
Yeah, he was like watching a B movie, like Evil
like
Dead or something like that.
Yeah, or like Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man, or I always
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness. Yeah. Now clearly someone was not a fan of that. Maxwell Blog says, "Are you all retarded? I'm sorry if you're a fan of those movies.
I like Army of Darkness.
Okay, let's pay. More dumb fun. What was a dumb fun? I saw a dumb fun movie recently too, and it was dumb and it was fun. And
I just enjoyed Bruce Campbell.
Oh no, it wasn't that. I did watch a movie and it was dumb fun, and it was a few weeks ago, and I don't remember it.
Was it from the 80s?
No, it was actually. I think it was pretty recent, actually.
Really?
Minecraft movie?
What?
Minecraft?
I did not watch the Minecraft movie. No.
I have kids.
Retard maxing. No, now I'm really bugged now. Now I really want to know what the movie was, because I watched it and I was like, oh, that was kind of fun, and I was like, that was stupid.
Did you say retard maxing? Yes, that's what we're doing. We're watching Cleave to Modernity. Retard maxing.
Cleave to duplicity. Cleave
Hey,
to
ban whoever just said Schindler's List.
What? What? Someone said Schindler's List?
No.
That is not dumb fun. Oh, come on, guys.
No, I know that wasn't, but that's funny that someone said that as like some sort of sick joke. Recent Faith Radio. Yeah, the Moscow Patriarchate is never used by intelligence agencies. Wasn't the EP funded by the CIA? Yeah, the whole thing's a bad joke. Oh.
Truman flew over the Patriarch of Constantinople. Come on. Does that not say asset?
Yeah, it does. Give me a second. Drive me nuts. Okay. Let me think here. Going through. I'm searching to see what films I have looked up recently. No, I guess it wasn't that recent. I'm looking at the past 2 months.
It's all a blur, Father. Once you turn 50.
Yeah. I guess it is. Oh well. Okay. How Sunrise says, "How have you not seen the Minecraft movie, Father?" I have not. I mean, I know about like Lava Chicken and like I know about the Chicken Jockey and stuff, but I have not seen it. Yeah,
I have kids. I've seen it.
Well, to give you a concept in terms of kids, that was one of the things I had to do this weekend. My youngest son just graduated high school, so
count your blessings.
Glory to God. And so, yeah, I have not seen it. I will probably see it because it does. I like stupid movies. And maybe I feel like it was a martial arts movie, but I do like those.
Like a B-rated?
No, I don't remember, but it was.
Man, I love B-rated.
All right, okay, we got to get back to this. We got to get back to this because People are like, no one cares about your movie. Things. You're not Jay Dyer.
I like the Jackie Chan movies before he was famous over here.
Oftentimes do have like 3-letter agency backing. So, I mean, that's a whole other subject, and there's a lot of history surrounding that. But the other point I wanted to make about the canons, though, is they might say like, oh, so then like, just because they don't enact a canon, that means like, you just got to like sit under the person or something. Well, grace remains until deposition takes place. So even if you did have, for instance, in a hypothetical, let's say you have the most liberal bishop possible or something. Okay, not that we should be judging bishops, but let's just say in this hypothetical you have the most liberal.
Okay. Let's
bishop you could possibly imagine. Okay, grace remains until the deposition takes place. This is literally what's spelled out in this.
Right. Okay. The most liberal bishop possible. Now I'm trying to think who's the biggest winner for liberalism you can think of.
What do you mean by liberal?
Like, okay, like he's saying, what if you're under the most liberal, the worst bishop of all of world Orthodoxy? I mean, I personally think it would probably be
like politically liberal or for like theologically
politically liberal and theologically liberal. We can put them both in there.
I'm so out of touch. I don't even know.
I mean, well, for me, an obvious choice would probably be Archbishop Elpidophorus, because he likes to, celebrate with heretics all the time.
Likes to baptize gay couple babies. Yeah.
Get baptized the gay couple babies.
Wouldn't mind communing with Monophysites. Wouldn't mind communing Protestant spouses of their Greek parishioners.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty liberal. Then there's that guy that just retired in the OCA. What was his name?
Archbishop. Alexander the Golitsyn guy. Yeah, I mentioned him, the one that doesn't recognize the Fifth Ecumenical Council.
Yeah, he's retired now.
Oh, and then but they have so many retired bishops that do heretical things. Like you have like Lazar
Puhalo.
Yeah, the Toll House dude who then
the Defrock deacon.
Yeah, Defrock deacon Lev, who's like now just he spouts off the stuff about the.
He's enjoying eating salmon in Alaska, yeah, something like that.
It's canon law attached to the rudder by St. Nicodemus of the Holy Mountain. So mindless men commit a grave error who say at the present time all those in holy orders who have been ordained contrary to the canons are actually deposed. It is a priest accusing tongue that mindlessly speaks foolishness, not understanding the commands of the canons without the practical activity of the second person of the Senate. So it's saying like when you're saying these are like magic spells or trap cards or whatever.
What's really funny is that he just kind of like undercut his position because it's pointing out, the canons are pointing out, even if things are not always done canonically perfectly, that doesn't mean that those aren't priests. He just literally read that and doesn't realize that his previous accusation of true orthodoxy when it comes to ordinations is false by his own words. So just
wait, is he making like references to Magic the Gathering?
I'm not sure. Do they have trap cards in Magic? Now, somebody said Yu-Gi-Oh, I think. Trap card Phronima.
Oh my goodness, I can't remember. It's been so long.
You don't understand the canons. You don't understand them to begin with. This is what St. Nicodemus is saying. This is in the rudder.
St. Nicodemus doesn't actually say that. St. Nicodemus was in favor of lay people reading the canons.
And frequent communion.
Yeah.
And confession.
This guy is nothing. I'm just amazed. I'm amazed. Jim Bob, if you're watching this, I'm so sorry you got so lied to.
The apostles themselves unmistakably explain what they mean in their canon 46, since they do not say any priest who accepts the baptism performed by heretics is already in a state of being deposed, that they command that he be deposed or that he stand trial, so on and so forth. We command that he be stripped of holy orders by your decision. So it's saying, it's using this as an example. Nobody's stripped of the holy orders until the bishop does so. It's not like, oops. Yeah. Automatically, like, a bishop has to initiate the order. So if that doesn't happen, grace remains. Okay. And that's the header to that entire section as well.
Okay. All right. So are you saying that that's ultimately missing from the true Orthodox position?
Yeah, because a lot of their arguments are like it's okay to.
This is so stupid.
Jim Bob, I just want to give you a message. If you want to know about true Orthodox, talk to true Orthodox, not idiots that think they know about true Orthodox.
Lying idiots that
pretend
to know that.
Well, that too.
We're schismatic. That's what they're like. It's okay. We don't consider ourselves schismatic. This is the way that we get out of applying that label to ourselves. Because we'll take this canon and we'll say, oh, well, this guy violated this canon.
Right.
So therefore, this justifies us because we look at this other canon that says flee a heretical bishop, and then we bridge this gap, this monumental gap that says we can set up parallel jurisdictions. Like that, there's no canon that says you can set up parallel jurisdictions.
Right.
This is schism.
Yeah.
Right?
That's because
look at you, New Calendars.
New Calendars. Oh my God.
It's like it sounds like a revolutionary act that you're like, you think, like I could imagine that you think you're in the right and ultimately holding the truth, and probably being in the minority probably adds to that sensation because you're like, oh, we're the true church, but we're really small and we're up against this monster, right? You're like Luke
Numbers
Skywalker against
argument.
the dark side, I bet, from their position. Because I always think about it from that position. I go, well, how are you guys growing? Like who are the bishops that come to the parishes and maybe
Fine, join the dark side.
refine and correct things that they see need to be corrected? Like what's the unified body that's doing this and maintaining this unity
The Synod.
across parishes and districts? And I don't see that. I don't see like an operating body.
Well, if you're
That's
in
what
the
the
GOC
Synod's
in America,
for.
that would be Archbishop Gregory of Colorado, who's, I mean, just to watch his videos, he does not.
Oh goodness, here we go again.
Timu J. Dyer is such a liar. He's just not honest. That's what we're calling him. He's Timu Dyer.
I'm not going to be insulting, but he's not
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
necessarily inspire confidence with some of the things that he says.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't seem like very high tier critiques. For instance, the Seraphim Rose thing, he says, oh, he's not
Nobody recognizes Gregory Colorado.
We even told him
Reminder.
this when he
We
was on
told
here.
This, I know. He's a liar. He's just
Idiot.
lying now.
Yeah, I mean
Your
that's straight
devotees
up
in
lying.
less. Like, okay,
Yeah.
like this is the critique. You know what I mean?
Well, then Lord have mercy on me.
You got the pre-less beard.
I got pre-less beard.
Out. I cast out your pre-less beard.
Yeah. Well, like you'd say then, this isn't really focused on, like we don't really, when we go through the network of Ortho Bros and commentary, even more developed YouTube channels that are like priests giving talks, there's almost zero focus on this. Is it just because it's like, it's ultimately kind of irrelevant? It's not a major problem to look at, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that. I think sometimes it could be an offensive subject too.
Okay.
Because there are always talks between the hierarchs and their guys trying to.
Their
reconcile-
synods are pulling them off.
Yeah. Wow.
You notice there's been a lot.
Someone actually spent $50 to say such just lies. Like, I mean, we're a small group of about 12, but that just shows where the truth. What a shame. What a shame.
You're going to see a lot less
How
World
things are going back
Orthodox
into
because
the
their
fold.
synods are
I can-
cracking down.
Yeah, exactly. When this is the fun part is that this is just the beginning. Dyer retiring opens up a whole new world of chaos.
Yeah, I think it
And,
does.
I think we're ready for it. So
Well, I think that's gonna put an end to the true Orthodox prohibition. Like they'll be able to talk to you guys, and you'll be able to actually
well,
talk to
that's
them
what,
about.
when I started going on Protestant channels, I think their prohibition went out the window. So that's this is kind of the beginning. We'll see how it goes.
Than discussing something like we're like bashing some random theology of Roman Catholics or something along these lines.
Yeah.
Because there's always this hope, I think, that they would rejoin the church. So I think in that way, sometimes these conversations can be offensive. So maybe that's why. But I also think you're right; they are just very small. I mean, go and look at that Joseph Swaden guy's channel. He's like what? They're like number one figurehead right now online. He's got like 100 views per live stream. They're
You're a
irrelevant.
figurehead. All right.
I'm a figurehead. Wow. And I have like 100 views per live stream. I didn't know that. That's weird because let me check.
Not like you've been in this space for over 20 years. I'm just saying.
I mean, I know, but that just doesn't sound right because I do a weekly show, so people don't usually go to the previous week unless they're searching for stuff. Let me see here. And I get like 100, I guess he said. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. The last one I did with the layman apologist, that was 786. The previous one, you guys, I know you guys might think I'm lying, so I'm going to put it on the screen. 100 views, huh? The Pentecost stream got 575.
And that's just from your side. When we're looking at the views on their side.
Yeah, we haven't even. Some of these are crossovers, so you have no idea how many people have actually seen it.
Exactly.
Yeah, 693, 468. I don't have big numbers, but I never claimed that I had big numbers. But one thing I will say is that Cleve likes to make stuff up. And so that's what he does.
Well, I'm sure if you lied and twisted the truth, you can make clickbait. I'm sure you would get a lot more views.
Yeah, if I was a professional liar.
Yep.
They're completely irrelevant.
Well, Brady says otherwise for $50. He says he's the Pope of the truer Orthodox, and we give our mothers and cry to our Mother Mary on Fridays, and we're a small group of about 12. He says, but that just shows we're the truest. You know what I don't really get, and I've been exposed to some of the true Orthodox, is they never actually try to convert me or anyone else. That's why I'm like, well, because I'm trying to convert Protestants and Catholics and everyone else to Orthodoxy, and I'm like, there's a direct path that I can point to on them.
Congratulations, Jim Bob. Welcome to us trying to convert you.
map a road, go to the doors over there, right? Go into those doors. I just don't get the same from them, right? I don't get a sense that there's a true location on the map called orthodoxy. And
wait till you find out we have maps on every single show we do, including this one. So whenever, if ever you watch this, all you have to do is go to the description and you can click on the maps.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen Joseph Sweden say, "Oh, well, like you got to like move to this state, and then you'll have a couple of churches. Like you got to like move to either this state or this state." So I mean, it's not everywhere. It's not everywhere.
Okay, I'm the guy who literally has videos about how to do Misa Sika and contacting people so you can start setting up home chapels.
He does realize World Orthodox has that problem.
But he's oh, sorry. I was like, he's lying. And I'm like, wait a second. Yeah, he's lying. It's what all he does.
In the United States, it's very small. In Greece, much larger. Because that's kind of where.
And in Romania, much larger. And in Russia, much larger.
That's why
Surprise.
I pointed
in Orthodox countries, it's much larger.
That's why I pointed to Orthodox countries on that live stream. I was like, yes.
But we still have a substantial presence in the U.S. And the simple reality is a lot of the places where we don't have a presence, they don't either.
Exactly. That's my point.
Sort of originated.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, in the American context, it's like nothing. It's trailer park church, basically.
Yeah, and I don't,
I wouldn't let it get to you. I don't want to let it get to you, Father. Okay. He's going samurai now.
Hey, how do you say something like that without feeling really slimy?
I mean, I bet he'd be a great used car salesman. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, there are laws now keeping them honest, so
yeah.
Probably wouldn't be that good.
you'd think with this massive sort of rejection of modernity, Protestantism, and just like weird lesbian churches, you'd think included in the maybe overcorrection that some people make toward Catholicism, Orthodoxy, or even Islam, unfortunately, that you don't really see the overcorrection include true Orthodoxy. You know what I'm saying? Like there is a type of.
You don't know it, Jim Bob, but yeah, if you're wondering why people aren't coming to us, they are coming to us. We talk about it, and it becomes the job of propagandists like Cleve here to say that it's not happening. However, they do not know the reality. It is happening.
Quote trend. Like I say, Orthodoxy will survive the trend toward Orthodoxy if people are calling it just a trend. But I don't see this uptick in true Orthodoxy. You would think that would be necessarily included in this mass conversion that we're seeing from.
I think it's just because it's obvious.
Yeah, he's World Orthodox. We don't know where he's from. Orthodox Tradition has like 20,000 subs. NFTU averaging like 700 plus views, if not more. Yeah. Orthodox Tradition is one of the largest true Orthodox channels. If you want to see, so we could actually do that. Give me just a second, just to show you, because Jim Bob, they're never going to tell you about this, but I will, because we're your friends and we want you to become true Orthodox. So here, let me go to channels. So Orthodox Tradition has 30.4 subscribers, 30.4 thousand subscribers. Excuse me. Esfigmenu, our monastery on Athos, the True Orthodox monastery on Athos, has 10,000 subscribers. Let's see here, and I got to click on View All. That was St. Photius Seminary with 23,000 subscribers. Hold on, because getting famous and stuff.
Yeah, but how many subscribers does Cleve to Modernity have, and how many?
He has like 20,000.
And how many does Father Beast have? And
yeah,
that's what they're gonna say. It's always gonna be a numbers game,
right? But the whole point is, the Ross PC has 26.2 thousand followers. This is not all of it. It feels like some of them have been taken off, and I'm not sure why. Because I had Just For You Aminda on, which is a Romanian True Orthodox channel. Hold on. Because they have 33,000 subscribers, and that's a Romanian True Orthodox channel. And it's not the only one. There's a few True Orthodox channels. So the whole point is, yeah, there is a presence. Yes, my channel was, I think to some degree, was artificially depressed through swarming, which was an effective method on X in terms of suppressing channels. Unfortunately, I mean, I don't know how familiar you are with that. I know Jay Dyer is. But in any case, let's continue. So
it's the same thing. They can smell the same spirit of the Enlightenment. It's the same exact mindset.
Yeah.
Right. We're gonna go off and do our own thing. if our current true Orthodox communion doesn't do what we like and they're not as trad enough for us, we're going to split again and we'll do our own thing.
Yeah.
Well, most
Yet the truth is now we have more true Orthodox communion than we did at any point in our history.
people that are leaving Protestantism, they don't want more of that.
Yeah.
They don't want to be in the endless schism church. They left the endless schism church. They want to be in the unchanging church. It remains together, right? I mean, look at what the
And
Wait a
yet,
sec. How many schisms have there been
in
true
World Orthodox, in True Orthodoxy or in World Orthodoxy?
In true Orthodoxy recently, like the past
Like
20,
recently,
30
there
years.
haven't been any. They've all been reunions.
That's what I'm saying.
It's been reunions and reunions since 2011.
That's what I'm saying.
It's just dumb.
look at what the fathers say about heresy. They don't kind of identify it as just like a wrong idea. They identify it as this: it's persisting in wrong teaching leading up to schism. That last part is the more dangerous aspect, right? It's not just
Yes, because heretics will eventually go into schism. That's the part you don't want to say.
having a bad idea. It's splitting away from Christ's theanthropic body, the church.
That's right.
It seems relatively obvious. I think anybody who's gone through enough, because people coming to Orthodoxy, they got to do a lot of, like, they've gone through a journey. Like they've had to deconstruct their Protestantism. They've had to deconstruct, in some cases, their we're actually getting a lot of people from Judaism now, which is interesting. I've been getting crazy DMs from like Orthodox Jews.
Is that like a 10-year catechism then for them, or
10-year catechism. But
No.
we're seeing people.
The problem is that, unfortunately, they have heard nothing but lies and stereotypes, and they are going to believe the worst things because of the fact that they don't know any better.
I actually came from Judaism.
Long journey.
I did not have a 10-year catechism.
Sometimes. So I think when you're done with that, especially if you're coming from Protestantism, you don't want to go back to something that's the same.
Yeah, Cristian Stiliveci is also a great Romanian True Orthodox channel. You're right, that is a good one. I don't know why those channels are not in my list. Yeah, Tradition Orthodoxy is GOCM. They have like 7,000. There's a lot of True Orthodox channels that are very popular. So ironically, when they say I'm the main figurehead or Joseph Swaden is the main figurehead, I'm definitely not. I mean, I know they're just mad I have a community at all because they would prefer I don't. But in reality, we're small here. We're powerful, and our people always back us up. But realistically, we're not like claiming to be some big thing.
We're not cloud goblins.
Yeah, we're not clout goblins like Jay Dyer and Timu J Dyer here. Timu J Dyer is way more of a clout goblin than the original. Well, I don't know. Maybe
It's becoming very evident. Let's just say that.
All
Remember
right,
when you had
we
the
have
string of World Orthodox priests on there? Come on.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? Yeah, we'll pour one out for Jay Dyer.
Pouring out for the non-homie.
for the chomi. No, I'm kidding.
Joey.
For the show me. For the whatever.
The foamy.
sure?
Right.
The
Yeah.
foamy.
Yeah, I can see that. In other words, like there's a sense that True Orthodoxy or some of these smaller sects, from our view, maybe we call them, the sense is that they're defined by an opposition, the same way Protestantism is defined by an opposition.
Yeah,
and so you go, well,
no.
we're not that, and we're going, well, what are you? And it's like, well, let's focus on what we're not.
We're
Orthodox.
the ancient faith of Christ, to given Christ to the apostles. Like, don't believe this. What a shame. What a shame.
Let me give
Poor
you the history.
Jimbo.
Let's focus on, quote, world orthodoxy. And I think you're right. I think picking up on the way in which it's talked about and presented, ultimately it's holding an anti-position. But orthodoxy is both. It's a position that all of those other things are wrong. But here's the truth. Let's focus mostly on the true thing, not on what we're not. And if people pick up on on a sense that an identity or a body is defined by its negation of something else, it's not really offering anything positive to somebody to grab onto.
So, and I think it's the same sense people get when they're watching these debates with JP Uncut and Mahler, because they're entirely defined by what they're not. It's like, oh, I'm not Catholic.
Right.
I'm not Orthodox.
Right.
That's who I am. Well, what do you actually believe? I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that's
So he debated. Who did he debate? He debated some Catholic guy, and it was just weird.
Hey, someone had a very nice comment. There's a massive double standard happening in this live stream. Bye-bye.
On topic.
Very true.
He was talking about more how, the Catholic Church can't be true because they
All
were
right.
mean to
You
me.
know
They
what?
wouldn't let me be a
We're
priest.
done.
Okay.
We're
And then the
done.
World Orthodox.
We're done. I'm sorry, Jim Bob. We couldn't listen to 2 more minutes of Ben from Cleve to Antiquity. That's all we can do. Hopefully you learned something. We're done with that. We still have a half hour to talk. Anyone wants to jump on again, if you want to jump on stream to ask a question or make a comment, just click the link.
Who had the double standard?
Yeah, that was just, well, the
Oh,
point
they were
is
talking about that last. Okay.
yeah. So basically, we are here to ask questions. If anyone wants to jump on the stream, ask a question, make a comment, just click the link.
What's your thoughts, Matthew?
Yeah, can I jump on?
Yeah, you're already on.
Okay. Hold on just a second. Okay, well, I did have a conversation with some ortho bros today.
Oh, boy.
About
So,
They
yeah.
must have been very upset.
I mean, it kind of applies to you guys. It kind of applies to Catholic, any kind of like the apostolic kind of category of churches. Here's my issue, and maybe you guys.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah. So here's my issue. Okay, I can't read the scriptures. I'm told I can't read the scriptures and understand them without the true apostolic church to tell me what they mean. Is that pretty fair?
yes.
Well, either way.
Yes,
well, I'm not.
I would say yes and no. Here's why.
Well, then I'll just talk about from the Ortho Bros. The Ortho Bros, absolutely, that is like
right. And I know
they
why.
almost discourage me to read the Bible altogether and discourage themselves. But so here's my issue with them. Maybe it's not so much with you guys. Okay, so if that were true, if it were true that as a person like myself who's just lost, I can't possibly expect to be able to read the scriptures and be able to pull the gospel out of them in a way to where I can believe it and be saved. I have to have a medium church that goes back to the apostles to be able to do that. And that's a fair point if that is the view of the Orthodox, of the Catholic. But the issue there is still that, okay, well then instead of having to read the Bible and figure it out, I'm now going to have to go back through 2,000 years of Christendom and of councils to be able to figure out which church is the true church so that then they can interpret the Bible for me. And that already causes a problem because you're going to have to know a little bit about the Bible to even be able to know which councils were ecumenical, which were not. So it's this loop that you just can't get out of. And to me, like the Ortho Bros definitely do it a lot more than I've ever heard you guys talk about it. But just this whole like kind of like beating their chest about you can't possibly know what the scriptures are saying because you're not part of the one true holy church. And it's like, yeah, but you don't know what the one true holy church is. You haven't done any of the research. You don't know even the scriptures or the history. So you just know less than I know. And that's kind of a very, like, I can't get them to see out of that. It's like they're so caught up in it. They're like, no, my very specific type of orthodoxy is true because they told me it was true because they are the arbiters of what the history was. And it's just I don't see how they don't see that's a very small loop. It's a small loop.
Well, part of the problem there is that ultimately most of the orthodox position is thinly disguised papism. And whether they are making the Pope the patriarch of their local church or making it Dyer in their minds, that is going to change over time as they lose one of those. Once they lose their infallible prophet. But the whole point is to address how to understand the scriptures the way Orthodox Christians do. And yes, I understand that there's a spiritual aspect to it that comes with being within the church. But one can read St. John Chrysostom's or St. Augustine's commentaries and get a better sense of what the scripture means.
Get the correct exegesis.
Yeah. Now, granted, that I can't say I would say with the guidance of a priest, it's perfect. But the idea that you can't gain anything from reading the scriptures and reading canonical interpretations, I think
can't gain salvation. Like can't. Which I know you guys believe that. Like you can't.
No one gains salvation from reading.
I think
the
Ortho Bros are taking out the Holy Spirit because the Holy Spirit does lead us to the fullness of truth, which we would consider the church, right? Yeah. So, how do Protestants and Jews and atheists come to the Holy Orthodox Church? By the Holy Spirit leading them to the fullness of truth, right? Yeah. So,
that's what I would say about the gospel is that the gospel is the power of God unto salvation, and that it itself does have a drawing power. It comes from God, but it does have a drawing power to it just by hearing it. You can believe.
But here's the thing, Matthew. What if you're illiterate? How are you drawn to the church? Right?
You would still believe the gospel. What do you mean illiterate?
Well, what I'm saying is if you're illiterate, you can't read the scriptures. Like you cannot read it all. How would you come to the fullness of truth? How would you would have
to hear the gospel and then believe it.
Oh, well, that's a good thing because we read that every time we have a service.
Well, I mean, and that's great. I mean, if you guys preach the gospel a lot, that's great. I mean, because that is the power of God unto salvation, and that should be preached more than anything. It shouldn't just be like you just repeat the gospel over and over again, but that it always needs to always go back to the gospel, at least.
Yeah.
Whatever you're preaching on. And Protestants
we
are
But the Holy Spirit has to work within.
yeah, the Holy Spirit would have to speak through you to be able to comprehend or to speak on the things of God. But I don't know. So that still bothers me about how Orthodox sort of giggle at the fact that I silly old me can think that I can understand the gospel by reading the Bible.
We wouldn't call the Ortho Bros Orthodox.
Well, yeah, but Ortho Bros, like, so they think I'm too silly to be able to read the Bible and comprehend it enough to understand the gospel, to believe it and be saved. And yet I am smart enough, though, to go through 2,000 years of, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not smart enough to do that. I'll admit that. I can go through the Bible. I don't understand every single doctrine.
Wait, first, Gecko Zeal says, Unseen Warfare has been very helpful for me. Glory to God. That's awesome. And, someone said Unseen Warfare has some great lives and posts. He does. I guess you guys saw my favorite channels or stuff. Debt to Compromise asks, is Matt on X?
No. I'm not on any drugs.
No, X.
No.
X as in the,
Formerly known as Twitter.
I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter. I'm not on Facebook. I stopped at Facebook about 2017. I had a TikTok until about 2020. And I don't know, that stuff just really got annoying to me.
You're anti-social media?
I hate to be it, because I understand people like to stay connected, and I like knowing when people's birthdays are. But
I'm not on social media either, so I'm right there.
It burned me out. The political stuff just burned me out. And I know it. Yeah. You can just click off of it, but I couldn't get away from it. It just kept throwing it in my face, and I just want to turn us off.
That's why I think Father Joseph is a warrior. I couldn't do that.
Well, warrior or not, now our total is $286 for the day, $36 over the goal. Thank you so much to everyone who's donating, and once again, we will play the
Can't stop winning.
Thank you so much to everyone for helping us. We do need it, and thank you for helping keep the lights on. So we really appreciate it.
Man, we need $14 more. I like round numbers.
The round number for me was 250. Everything else I'm happy about, but I'm happy anyway. But the whole point is that I have seen. You know what? I'm gonna start calling people out now. Now it's more fun. I've seen people like in the World Orthodox kind of the YouTube debate space, kind of grouse about the fact that they don't make enough money on YouTube.
So they're grifters.
Yeah, and I'm like sitting here like, well, if you treat your audience and with respect and you do what you say you're going to do, you should be fine.
Well, you're seeking donations. You're not grifting.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I'm not like, I don't think I'm special. I think I'm answering questions. So I really appreciate and I'm grateful to everyone for their help. Father, I noticed Young Penitent interviewed Trevon about Father Seraphim Rose. Curious of YP asked Father Trevon about his stance on the RCC. He actually did do that on Twitter, and he flat out admitted that yes, that's Father Trevon's actual position.
He got caught.
Then he said, "Oh well, but he said Saints held it." And when he asked which Saints, he didn't answer. So
I don't pick on Young Penitent too much because he's done YouTube videos talking about his mental.
I'm not going to go there. Yeah, I feel bad for him.
It's public knowledge.
Well, Dyer called him insane. So
he's talked about it publicly on YouTube. So I'm not trying to talk out of school, but I'm just saying that's why I don't go hard on Young Penitent, because I don't.
I'm going to start going hard on Young Penitent because he's not totally honest either. Because he's
not honest, but I'm not going to push too hard on him.
Now, people did ask for this video, or they asked for from 2758. I'm going to go from 2750. I had no idea. You see, I would never have seen that because I would not watch 28 minutes worth of Abbot Trefon to get there. But here we are. So let's put that on.
Rose was in the place that God wanted him to be at that time. And I do believe that when the Russian church abroad was ready to reunite with Moscow.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah, this is garbage.
One of the leaders in that. I really believe that with all my heart.
All right.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks, Seraphim, and pray to God for us.
Yeah, which you can't do because you're
He's not as safe for you
glorified.
guys yet.
That's
And
right.
the way things are going for you, it might not be.
Yeah, this is stupid. Oh, Maxwell Biggs is here. Okay, he commented on again. I stopped listening to people when they say trailer park, because it just shows that they're just blindly accepting whatever J Dyer or Timu J Dyer or whoever else wants to say. It's sufficiently infuriating that I don't like dealing with it. I'm going through X-ray. Someone did ask, could we see the can we see the thread? And Sunrise asks, what is that statue? What statue? I don't have a statue. Let's see here. One of the worst takes of all time, possibly ever. Yeah, I would agree. Let me see here.
Yeah, the World Orthodox glorification of Seraphim or Saint Seraphim might not happen.
Let me see if I can pull it up this way.
Yeah, everybody's coming out of the woodworks against them.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what the main reason is, Father?
What?
It's because he was part of a schismatic group.
Who?
Father Seraphim, Saint Seraphim.
Oh yeah.
He was part of Rokor. That's the same accusation they made against St. John of Shanghai and San Francisco. That's still what the Constantinople people say. They don't recognize him because he was part of a heretical group from their perspective. Because Rokor before the Union, well, they still don't like Rokor.
Yeah, I have it here. Here we go. So let me share this screen so people can see it. This was a few days ago. This was, this was back when I was on John Dirk's channel, and Young Penitent showed up to argue his side. And I brought up, I said, well, he wanted to defend Abbot Trifon. And I said, how can you defend Abbot Trifon when he believes that Orthodox and Roman Catholics are in the same church? And he's like, he doesn't believe that. And I said, yeah, he does. He says it all the time. And we even showed a clip. And he
was a Catholic.
Yeah, and so Sean here put up, he says, here's a video of Abbot Trifon saying he believes RCs have apostolic succession in the real Eucharist. For those who haven't seen it, I guess I can press it.
Many of you may not be aware of the fact that I was originally a monk in the Eastern Catholic Church. And I eventually found myself moving into Orthodoxy. And I'd like to share a little bit about why that happened. At the time, I was in Berkeley, California. I was teaching in a small private high school. And I was very much involved with the Roman Catholic religious communities in Berkeley, especially through the Graduate Theological Union. And I had a very bad experience with the Jesuits. I had received permission to audit classes, and I did this for about 3 years with the Dominican School of Theology. And during that time, I took a class in St. Paul at the Jesuit school. It was a wonderful class with a wonderful old Jesuit. This priest, at the end of one of the classes, asked that if anyone was there that was auditing but not paying for the class to please stay and talk to him afterwards.
You know, I'm going to make it faster because, yeah, he is so slow.
That the head of the Jesuits had told him that I was not to be allowed to.
Holy mackerel, he's so slow.
So I made an appointment and I met with this man. And he was very polite to me. And he told me
we're at 1.75 people.
I explained to him why I wanted to be in this class and that I was enrolled in classes at other the Jesuits of the Dominicans, and I was
he's still slow.
Capuchin Franciscans, and I wanted to deepen my understanding of the writings of St. Paul. And he was very nice, but he said, "Well, I'll let me make my decision, and I'll."
We're at 2 times, people.
When he said that, I knew he'd already made the decision. So I called his secretary a few days later, and I was told, "No, you cannot be in this class. It's not permitted." It was about that same time that the consortium of the 3 Catholic seminaries, every year at the beginning of the school year, they would have a mass in a nearby Protestant church next to the campus, and that was the beginning of the year, of the academic year. But this one particular time, a priest by the name of Father Owen had been asked if he would be the celebrant for the opening mass. He was an Eastern Catholic like myself. And at the last minute, the day before, in fact, he was informed that because there were so many young women who had decided they were going to picket in front of the chapel, if he was allowed to celebrate.
Can't make it
on the
faster,
grounds that,
guys.
as a Eastern Catholic, the Pope wanted to keep them all in line with the hope that eventually there would be union with the Orthodox Church. And because of that, and the Eastern Catholics appearing to be like Orthodox, that they did not want to allow this to happen. And so he was disindicted. It was a clear sign to me that we were second-class citizens. I started the beginning of my entrance into Orthodoxy. When I discovered Orthodoxy for the first time, it was amazing what I saw. I saw the ancient church alive and well. I experienced liturgies that were unchanged from the early centuries of the church. And I thought, why am I bothering to be part of the Roman Catholic Church when the well of truth and tradition is alive within Orthodoxy? To this day, I have very many dear friends who are Roman Catholics and traditionalists, and I love them. And I do believe that they have apostolic succession and that they have a real Eucharist.
Wow.
But I have also witnessed, as many of you have probably witnessed.
Okay, he said it. Anyway, there's lots of videos like that. I am working on getting more. Young Penitent said I asked him about it. He confirmed what he said in the video, citing several saints who shared his view. One video is hardly him talking about it. Every time he opens his mouth, the Swaden was saying, though. Trust me, I'll get more. And so, yeah, maybe there's more. And I just said I didn't backtrack. I wanted to make sure I give a number I could reasonably defend. So just to be clear for people like John Dirks, what I said about Abbot Trifon is correct, but his position, and presumably yours, is that this is the saint's position. Correct? And then he said, if I remember, he quoted several saints, not all saints. It may just be one of those minority opinions. I can't remember which ones they were. And I try to be polite here, and I said, but you can see at least why that answer is frustrating. We're going from he would never say that to he absolutely believes that, and so do some saints in real time.
Like Catholic saints.
Yeah, he wrote back, just be frustrated then. At which point I was like, okay, we're no longer friends. I said, translation, you put on an act and you'll do it again. No good faith among you. But Father Joseph, why are you so mean? This is why. And so blah, blah, blah. He, blah, blah, blah. He got sick of it.
The hypocrisy gets old.
Hypocrisy, thy name is Young Penitent. Or Daniel, I think is his name. But anyway, the point is, hey, no insulting Cobra Kai like that. All right. Do not insult Cobra Kai. Anyway.
Have you ever debated, or have you ever watched layman debate before?
Layman who? Layman Seminary?
Oh, layman seminary.
Oh, Father Boniface. Whoa.
Benedicite.
Benedicite.
God bless Texas.
Yeah.
I'm deep in the heart of Texas.
All right.
Nice. What are you doing? We haven't actually discussed it because we weren't sure how much we could say.
Okay. I just thought it'd pop up. I'm done some of the evening activities, so here I am.
Well, glory to God. We're glad to see you. So this is awesome.
Did you get some real Texas food?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we went out to a restaurant, got some Mexican, seafood. Of course, we're on the fast, so
yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Did you go to Buc-ee's?
I don't know if you want to.
Yes, we did.
Nice.
Buc-ee's.
Nice.
Cleanest restrooms ever.
Oh, it's awesome.
Still have not been to Buc-ee's. I will be there one day, though. I will get there. But yeah, this is awesome. So it's great to see you, Father Boniface. Yeah, we had to give the slap down to Ben from Cleave to Antiquity because he's a slimy liar, and so that's what you missed that, but that's fine.
He brought you up quite a bit, Father.
Yeah, he did, and I had a lot to say personally, so I did. I got it out there, and we're not done yet. So when you see that, God willing, you get a chance. But this is just the beginning because if Cleve wants to be Team J. Dyer, we may as well just stop that early while the creature tries to form itself. So anyway,
just throw holy water at it, Father. It'll be all right.
Yeah. Holy water is for the win. But in any case, yeah, let's see here. That's wild. He denied he heard it from Father Trifon, and now, well, it's not that bad. Plus throws in some vague claims some saints agree. This is how they work. That is the most World Orthodox way they work.
See how slimy it is, guys?
Yeah,
it's very slimy.
It's not honest. It's not honest. And I always thought that Daniel was a fairly honest guy. And it's like sometimes honest guys have to do dishonest things. I guess that's their motto in World Orthodoxy.
Mr. Bianchi would not be proud.
No. Anyway, so now Benjamin says Gleb Podlazhensky. I assume it's talking about the abbot somewhere. It's a reference to the St. Sarah from Rose. The monastery in Northern California that Father Rose was taken in by the Serbian West Coast Diocese some years ago. Now I know that, you're thinking of Gleb Podlazhensky.
Yeah,
They're certainly not
former
calendar-
Father Herman. Yeah.
Sunrise says they're certainly not canonizing St. Philaret. Or reader John Taylor Harden says, Father bless, God bless you, in the name of the Father and the Holy Spirit. So we had a pretty fulfilling day today, I guess. I'd say we did well. Things went well.
Exceeded the goal, thank God.
We exceeded the goal.
Wow.
So crazy stuff going on. And Father Boniface showed up. I was like, I thought you weren't going to show up. I was sad. I was like, oh, man.
Are you in a trailer park, Father? We must know.
I am in an RV, but it's not in a park. It's part of the extra room in the house here, which is the church, which is huge.
So it's a guest house.
Yeah, it's a guest house on wheels. Yep.
There you go.
Yeah.
Father Boniface just gets so unlucky. Like, you make a joke about the trailer. People are like, he's in a trailer. And now it's like, you're like visiting and Reader John's like, well, not in a trailer. He's like, well, I'm in an RV, actually.
Hey, that's an upgraded trailer.
No, well, that's obviously a guest room, but
And he's as a guest house. There's an actual church there. Trust me.
Yeah,
I don't know,
there
but
is.
It's giving me some room to write some songs or something. I don't know.
Oh boy,
Country western, I hope.
it's Texas, so just kind of inspires you. Like, I'm in an RV
but
near a church.
Listen to George Strait, and it'll help you, Father.
I don't have a dog though, but maybe I have some cinder blocks.
All right. Well, this is let's see. There's some new comments. Yeah. Okay. Dr. Compromise says, haha. And look in here. So yeah, I guess basically we're in the last 5 minutes, and as always, we stick around for those. But in any case, it's been a great night, a great comeback, and yeah, I guess we should one more time say goodbye to Jay Dyer for
The faux homie. The foamy.
the foamy. All right, so Jay Dyer, peace out, bro.
He in dire straits.
he's in dire straits. He's going into pop culture, and so let me see here.
Hey, have you ever debated layman seminary before?
I haven't. I have not.
Have you ever watched any of his debates?
Not yet, but I will. From what I understood, there were a lot of people like when he first I offered and he said sure. A bunch of people were like, he uses ChatGPT. I'm like, okay, that doesn't scare me. It doesn't concern me at all.
Well, but I wouldn't pass it off. I wouldn't pass it off as he just copy and paste from ChatGPT. I'm not going to lie to you. He's going to be a formidable opponent, and there's going to be.
I'm confident, but I always do my prep work. So
yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like I know people like the ChatGPT. I think he's like made it. He's got his own ChatGPT that he uses. You know how you can program your own or something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, but that's. I mean, I'm telling you, like before the debate, there's going to be like 3 nights of like 12-hour podcast of him doing debate prep. Like he's a serious debater. I will give him that. He absolutely is going to be a good opponent. He's going to put in the work.
That's my favorite kind of debater.
Yeah.
So let's see here. Reader John Taylor Harden with a comment. Father Boniface is in trailer in Texas. Oh boy. I missed it. Me and Bishop Leonti of Chile had similar reviews. Not really, but we're not getting into that 3 minutes before closing time. Why did Dyer quit? Did his priest force him to leave apologetics? I suggest rewinding to the beginning of the video because that's the first thing we talked about. And so we're not going to do that.
Oh, actually, I missed that too.
Yeah. And Gecko Zeal says, in Florida. Well, no, we're not in Florida today. So let me see here. How did that appear on Facebook now? That's weird. The call-in live thing appeared on Facebook now. That's not useful considering you're only going to be able to call in for about a minute and a half. Really, half a minute because I always read the closing. But in any case, so I am glad that we were able to get together today, and I did not expect today to be like today or yesterday to be like yesterday. We are in a whole new kind of world scenario where we're going to just be dealing with the little, the cockroaches pretending to be Timu J. Dyer, the first of whom, and I say this with all the love I can possibly muster, Ben from Cleve to Antiquity, because you have earned it for your slimy lying. And that's all I'm going to say.
Now we need that song, La Cucaracha.
Well, we don't have the La Cucaracha, but we have the gong.
Does it cleave to iniquity?
It's
You
cleave
have-
to iniquity or cleave to duplicity or cleave to celebrity.
You
or
have
Cleave
lost
to anything.
We cleave to anything.
Cleave to insanity.
Cleave to dishonesty. Anyway,
Well-
all right. We're at 11:29, so it is time. So thank you to everyone, to our guests, to Matthew, to Reader John, to Father Boniface, and Reader John, always here. Thank you so much for coming by and for your help. And Matthew, thank you for good questions. Thank you to our listeners, to those who ask questions and have comments, and to those who support our mission. Support the channel. We at NFTU need your help. Support us by subscribing or donating at nftu.net or on Give, Send, Go. We remember all of you in our prayers, and thank you for all the support for NFTU. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. And he's not cleaved to canonicity because he's cleaved to uncanonicity. All right, through the prayers of Holy Father, so Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Amen. Have a great
Amen.
night, everyone, and we will see you, God willing, Thursday.
All right.